Hello, everybody. What's strange is that the bot on Discord hasn't been announcing the stream sort of on time. It's been 1 minute and 5 seconds, and it usually takes 20 seconds. So we're more than 3 times the amount right now. I think it's going to eventually post it. I just don't know what's going on there. But hi, everybody. So today is Wednesday. Adam is going to be using all of the... Actually, I need to write this so that it's short for YouTube as well. Adam is making this. Where is this? Stream tasks. It still hasn't posted the announcement. Learn more about Godot multiplayer. I guess this is in progress. Yeah. Is working on this. Okay, so let's edit this for YouTube and for Twitch. I need to go over to here. Let's edit. And there's like no latency on YouTube. Very impressive. Okay, so we type this over here. It'll be nice once these databases are connected, so I don't need to do this. Did it ever? It never made the content announcement post. Well, I guess I should just make it myself at this point. Live stream notifications. I'm live Twitch. Not sure why the bot didn't say this for me. Okay. Yeah, and on Twitch I can say a little bit more. Well, no, I could just say it in the task. All right, so there's one thing I want to do. Hey, 3D extended. I want to connect to the mini PC and just see, is there anything going on there? Thanks to resub Ember. I saw it on my dashboard, but nice to see it announced now. Docker ps-a, Docker logs. Where is my bot? Habit bots. There it is, C9F. Uh-oh. Failed to subscribe conflict? Subscription already exists. Interesting. Is it just going to keep doing this? Looks like it is. Well, that's a problem. I should probably just restart the bot. Yeah, this is pretty sucky. All right, is there anything interesting here? Yeah. Socket does not have a session ID yet. This should never happen. It's this one, conflict. Give me 1 sec. I can paste this on screen. Okay, yeah. So here's what's happening. Look into this for the bot. This happened on today. So conflict, subscription already exists. I guess I need to unsubscribe at some point. This has been running for like 9 days though, and it looked like it's been fine the whole time. Bot had been running, hey Chippy, hey Casey, for 9 days. It had been fine for that time. I don't know. I think I should just restart this though. Yeah. Although then it might make a post about it again. All right, so let's do this. Restart C9F. Okay, there. All right. Well, happy Wednesday. Today, what I want it to be all about, and I'm just going to have this thing restart and then that's it. I'm not going to look into this too much more. What I want this to be about is making this prototype game that we talked about the last time. It's just a platform where people can connect to. The whole point of this is to make a sandbox for testing out multiplayer techniques, I suppose. So the first thing we want to try out is interpolating positions of everybody, maybe doing some kind of lag compensation sort of thing. And I just kind of want to see how it goes. I think in order to really test and see if there's a problem here, we need to make some kind of game. Like it can't just be a sandbox. Because if it's a sandbox, then there's no real goal. And if there's no goal, then you don't have the motivation to do certain actions in the game and kind of test things out. So if you're just jumping around, then sure, you can test out that physics are working, but you don't really know, is it delayed? Is there an unfair advantage for people who are closer? Consider making some kind of clone of jump time, or at least loosely based on it. Uh, not quite. I wanted it to be something where at any given point you can see everything that's going on the screen. So that's at least what I want to do. But yeah, we'll see how it goes because I might end up doing, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think at first we're going to keep things kind of simple and just focus on the multiplayer stuff. So we might not even have characters. We might just have like circles or squares or something. Abby, 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 Abby. Hey, cat. No, Abby, scratch this. Scratch this. Yes, good girl. Okay. Are you done? Oh man. She really loves scratching that chair. And it's not like it's an important chair for us or anything, but I just don't want her to be in the habit of doing that. So I put the scratch pad on it. Okay, so is this thing back up and running? I think so. Fatudi, thank you for resubbing. Welcome back. 4-month streak. Love to see it. So is this all working now? If I do docker log c9f. Yeah, it says started successfully. Okay, well, then that's that. And the... Ah, I missed a message on YouTube. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's on like a 15-second polling time now. And I'll need to look into the quota at some point too. Look into YouTube quota now that it's polling every 15 seconds. Oh no, cat just spooked herself. I mean, it can only poll. There is no other API for it. So that's just a requirement. All right. Yeah, so like I said, going to be some kind of just test game. And a lot of these things that we're going to be doing are things I've done before, and we're just kind of combining them all now. This also has to be done in GDScript to make it so that I can do a web export because Godot doesn't currently support that through C#. So yeah, I think let's get started here. I also kind of want to make a Git repo for this. Did I already make one? I probably did. Is it that you're going to take Thursdays off, or when are you deciding? Thursdays, I don't know, but tomorrow I'm taking tomorrow off. I have been doing way too much. Taking the day off. Yeah, I'll write this for Friday. And in fact, I'll just go modify that right now. I was thinking about what's happened the last week, and I was doing stuff even on the weekend. I've been like catching up on things. There have been, I don't know, there's just been a lot going on. Oh, I see. Thursday is what I meant. Yeah. I'll mark that as off. I don't think there was anything on the schedule for tomorrow. There is something on the schedule for today. So this afternoon, I'm going to be doing a one-off advice session with Casey. It's not a full mentoring session. Well, it is mentoring, but I guess it's not a series. Also, I finally uploaded session 3 for Kyle and for Peter yesterday. I did not put a nice thumbnail. I didn't put an intro. I just figured they might as well just be online because that's what was holding me up that whole time. Most awesome climbing route on a wall. What, I mean, productize it and then sell it to climbing gyms? Sounds like a good idea. I think we'll split the revenue. I get 100% and you can have 20%. We'll need to generate more than the maximum amount of revenue. Okay, so did I do anything here? Clear filter. No, I never made a repo. That seems weird. Code Godot. It was this multiplayer from scratch. What is this? This is the GDScript thing that I did? Okay. All right, let's load this up and just see what it was. Because I don't remember this. I mean, I like vaguely remember it. I remember you could connect. I think there was just a text box or something after that. All right, so close that. Close kind of all of this stuff, I guess. Yeah, I vaguely remember this. Do I have this set to launch a couple of these? That's not Godot. Yeah, I have it set to launch a couple. I think this was just the chat program. I hit host, I hit join. Oh, it's connecting to Godot.bottomline. No, can't do that. Oh, I guess this is not where I'm hosting. Join. This is joining the server. Wasn't there something else that was a problem here? Oh man. I only vaguely remember. I think it was in. I think it was in game, maybe? No, it definitely wasn't here. Lobby. Default server IP. Where's Godot 2.bot.land coming from then? Hmm. Now, I remember the struggle with WebSockets. I needed to switch my code to use them so that we could do the web export. I'm just not sure why this is failing. All right, let's just restart this thing. Maybe clicking join to the wrong host broke it. I don't even know if this matters. There and there. No, it's not able to join. Huh. There was something else that I modified here. I vaguely recall hard coding. This right here, WSS. That's it. This needs to be WS. Okay. Well, that's going to be kind of annoying. So now I should be able to host without typing an address. And then here I should be able to join. Yes, good. Okay, we got it. And then that's it. That's the entire thing that this did. There wasn't anything else. The thing that I'm thinking of with the chat or the roll dice or whatever was something I downloaded, I'm pretty sure. Hey, Luffy. All right. So that's something we got to keep in mind as I go through this. I wonder if there's a way to get this to work even locally. I guess with a tunnel it would work. And I'm pretty sure I wrote all these notes somewhere, right? Multiplayer in Godot. Yeah. A dedicated headless server. This is another decision I need to make. Do I want this to be headless or not? I think I want there to be the option. Actually, do I? I don't even know. What are we really testing? I guess this doesn't matter too much whether I want a dedicated server. I just don't want to paint myself into a corner here. All right, so setup is this. Game client hosted on the cloud somewhere. This is relevant because most browsers are going to block outgoing traffic from a secure site to a non-secure destination. Secure, not secure. Game servers hosted on your machine. It took a lot of trial and error due to ports and tunneling and having to upload the game a bunch of times. Setup that worked. Modify main, set def port to 443. Do I have a port here? Yeah, I do. Okay, so we can do this over port 443 no matter what. Set protocol. Abby. She's meowing. Abby? Oh, there you are. Hey, cat. Want to come over? I feel bad. I didn't get to play with her for very long this morning. I think having headless is a good lesson to include. Should be very simple. Yeah, I think the only times I can really think of where you might not want this is a game where you don't want to have to be connected all the time. Or sorry, where you are going to be connected all the time. And I don't know. I'm not really making a game, so I guess it doesn't matter. So yeah, let's, I guess, make it dedicated. Where did that task list go? Here it is. Okay, so make a dedicated server. Allow each client to control their own player, have the server be the authority, and then I guess like automate the publishing of this if possible, just to make it easier for testing. By the way, we're not going to get done with all of this today. I'd plan on this taking probably about 3 days, but I want to at least lay the groundwork for it. Let me finish looking through this. So set the port to 443, set the protocol, set up the tunnel. Shouldn't try to change the port. Regardless of where the client is, you'll have to connect through the Cloudflare tunnel. In other words, localhost won't work anymore because you don't have a certificate on your own machine. Wait a second, what? Oh man, this is something I was just thinking about today. Regardless of where the client is, you'll have to connect through the Cloudflare tunnel. In other words, localhost won't work anymore because you don't have a certificate on your own machine. Cloudflare is handling that through the tunnel. Oh, if you want to connect through localhost, either set up your own certificates or change the protocol. Okay. I could do a self-sign cert, yeah. And I don't think we're going to worry about this yet because this is something that would steer us away from multiplayer and steer us more toward like, yeah, just kind of networking and certificates and everything. Yeah, Metal Storm. All right. So I would also like to make this code available online somewhere. So let's go make a repo. Well, let's write that we need to make a repo, I guess. Start a repo for this. Halfway to 9. Thanks, Prop Elements. I remember watching you years ago when you left your left for a full-time job. Glad to see you back at it. Yeah, hey, Above Beyond. I am back as of 3 months and 2 days ago. So we are now in Q2 of returning to the stream. It is wild to think that it's been more than a quarter already. And I've been pondering a lot about this stuff. For one, I feel like I took 2 official vacation days, and I think that 2 days in 3 months is really bad. I think it should be more. The problem that I have with this is that May to June is going to be a lot of vacation, and then I think August is going to be more vacation. And so the year as a whole will be at probably like more than 4 weeks. But yeah, I can't do this stuff can't do anything for that long and not take more vacation time, I guess. All right. So start a repo for this and then link it in here for other people to see. Yeah, now all of this stuff should have, what is going on? Huh, didn't know what profile I was on. Okay, good. Let me paste this back in here and let's go get started. So start a repo for this. Let's go make a new project. We probably want to leave this one up so that I can just copy paste everything here. Because like this is good enough. I don't want to spend a lot of time on the join and host thing. Hey Ransu, thanks for resubbing. You're 8 months, man. I guess if you're 8 months, it means that you started subscribing probably in the beginning of the Adam Learns era. Well, assuming they were continuous months. So quit the project list. Okay, we're going to make a new project. And where do I want to save this? I guess in the Godot folder. Yeah. And then create folder. What do we want to call this? Because what am I going to end up doing here? I guess multiplayer platform prototype. Yeah, that's fine. Multiplayer platformer prototype. That's a great name. Yeah, I like that. Version control metadata, git. I wonder if this makes a git repo. I forgot about whether it does, but we're about to find out. So here's our empty project. Now we go over to code, Godot, multiplayer platformer prototype, and see. We do not have a git repo here. Okay. We do have a git ignore. Yeah, I'll make one. About that time, yeah. By the way, I made that video for anyone who hadn't seen. I made the video on bind addresses. I feel like the amount of time it's taken for me to make videos has gone up, and then it feels like it's taking more energy somehow. But maybe it's because there's more technical stuff to prep for. So it's not just like film, edit, publish. It's it's do technical prep, then film, edit, publish. And it's just a lot to do for one day. With that said, I'm happy with how the video turned out. I think it's good. I think it's clear. I think it's as concise as I could have been while still covering the points I wanted to cover. All right, so now we go back to GitHub. Just do it this way. And make a new repo. And call this multiplayer platformer prototype. So this is a test bed for multiplayer concepts. It's probably not going to be a real game. Yeah. All right, sure, add a readme, I don't care. Git ignore template, we already have one, so that doesn't matter. Actually, don't add a readme. I'll add one myself. Okay. So create the repository on the command line. Copy this stuff to here. I don't like that first commit bit. Okay, let's do this. No such file or directory. Isn't that the whole point of this echo command? Huh. I guess you only need to use one greater than for Z shell. Cat readme. Yeah. Cool. I don't really need to add this, but fine. I guess I will. Git commit -m add readme. All right, and then do this stuff. Okay, so that put this online. So now we have a repo here. It's just blank. Yeah. Yeah, only appends. See. GitHub CLI is pretty nice. I have it. I just wasn't using it for this. I never really thought about using it to create a repo. Yeah, GH repo. Huh. I should probably try that next time. What do you usually like to do when merging to a branch? Do you rebase or regular merge? I've got some notes. Hey, Abby. I've got some notes in my... Where are those notes? Yeah, I generally merge with just no fast forward. I used to rebase all the time, but I think... I don't know. I'm going to try this out now. Okay, so we go back to our to-do list here. We have done... Well, we've almost finished this. I guess I need to link this here. Edit. Start a repo for this. Update. Here it is. Cool. Now mark that as done. What does no FF do? No fast forward. I think I can find a doc page on that. No FF. Should be here. Hey, Hideo. Thank you for the resub. Funny how Twitch makes it more difficult for you to use your Prime sub. You have to click elevate your subscription. Strange. Also feels like they're going to remove it soon. I'd be kind of surprised if they did that. But yeah, maybe they will. Regardless, thank you. All right, so creates a merge commit in all cases, even when the merge can be resolved as a fast forward. Yeah, handles how history is done. I think I'm trying not to mentally context shift too far away from what I'm doing, so I'm giving you a subpar answer here. I would say look it up. Sorry. Sorry, Monster. And 3D Extended, thank you too. And today's the day to resub, I guess. Actually, I suppose that makes sense because a lot of people were here on the first day like 3 months ago. Okay, so now make a dedicated server. So this is where we're going to start to pull in the code from my other game that we have here. This is multiplayer from scratch. I want the join screen to be pretty basic. Can I open up 2 projects at once, or is that not possible? Project. Oh, maybe I can just middle click new window. Oh, that works. Okay, good. Yeah. So we'll just open up this. So what I'm thinking here is it even worthwhile for you to be able to name yourself in the game? Like maybe you should just get a number and that number should be your player ID. And that way you don't need to type anything and everybody can see everybody else's thing and there's no obscenities. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. Or maybe you do type in a name, but it's something that isn't shown anywhere. But then why even have people type it? Yeah, I guess we just get rid of this stuff. And we just say who's connected. Okay, so we would need this section. We should probably allow for customizing the protocol as well so that I can test this myself. Yeah. So make the connection logic have radio buttons for WS versus WSS. Or actually, how about just have radio buttons, have a, I don't want to do this. For filling out the data for myself or for when hosted? No, this is dumb. This is... What we really should do is there should just be a development and a production version. I just don't know how you do this through Godot. It's probably something through the export settings that we have here. Can you custom template, debug and release? Okay, so there's some way of doing this, and I just don't know how this works exactly. Resources, features, encryption. No, it's got to be something in here. What is this? I don't know. Maybe there's some way of specifying environment variables or something like that. Yeah, whatever. Let's just not worry about that yet. I don't need to make this any different. Name and a tag. Emoji face UUID. Actually, just assigning a random emoji could be kind of interesting. Although it'd be a little hard for people to say who they are because they need to type the emoji. They changed it 1 week ago and Reddit's already full of Twitch Prime gone thread. Yeah. Generate username from word pairs in the tag. I think I'll just make it be numbers at first. I think that's fine. I think if I remember, this is just a prototype. If I wanted it to be a game, I think having those random names would be a good idea for sure. You could have a global script. I understand what you said when I joined. Yeah. I guess you have a script that provides different variables based on the environment that you have. Anyway, like I said, that's also not super important. So let's go start with what we have over here. I think the easiest thing to do is just copy this scene entirely. Let's go make our same folder structure. So make dir, what do we have? Scripts. Do I make these lowercase or uppercase? I always make them lowercase. Okay, so scenes, scripts. We don't have any assets yet, but let's make one assets. Okay. So now in scenes, we want to copy over the lobby scene because I'm not going to remake this. There's just no point. All right, so cp scenes / lobby over to this / scenes. Yeah. Okay, so now we have a lobby scene. Now I'm guessing that scene refers to a script. And it's probably in the scripts folder. Yep, there it is, lobby.gd. So let's go copy that over too. So copy scripts / lobby. Why are there two options here? Because there's lobby reference. What is that? Code, Godot, multiplayer.
Whoops.
Scripts, lobby reference. What is this? Oh, I think I know what this is. I think this is something I had that was working and then I wanted to change something at some point. All right, then I don't need that. All right, so now we want to copy this over to scripts as well. All right, so now we have a lobby scene in the new game. So we should be able to just open that up, right? Yeah. Now what we're going to get rid of is the name stuff. So get rid of this. Why can't I delete this? Oh, there we go. Get rid of this, I suppose. Maybe this is like your connection status. So how do I want this to work exactly? The server should just always be running. So as soon as you hit join, it should connect you to the running game and then switch scenes. So there shouldn't be a need for this either. Maybe I was gonna say there's really no need to even have you hit join. If there's nothing you can customize here, then what do I care? It should just automatically join and just drop you right in the server. Yeah. Well, I guess that simplifies a whole lot. Yeah. Okay. Well then, guess we don't need any of this. Now, is it worthwhile to have? Would it help me in testing at all? I mean, I guess we could always just add it in if it would help in testing. Now you might need the screen for one reason, and it might be that the server is not even online. So I guess we could load this up and just have something say here like trying to connect to the game. Yeah, in which case really none of this stuff matters, does it? Okay, yeah, let's delete all this then. Because what would customizing the host allow you to do? It would let me make a tunnel that doesn't go anywhere and then not need to rename it. Or no, be able to rename it and then not have to upload a new version of the client. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. Okay, well, anyway, here's the status label. What is this thing? Is it just a label? I think it is. But I think that covers every kind of thing. No, there's also a rich text label. Either way, labels can show multi-line text. So status goes here. So we'll say something like connecting. And that's it. That's our lobby scene. Hooray. We're done. Oh, man. Yeah, great that I copied it. Okay, so we just want to load up scripts. So we'll just do s dot over here. And then say that we trust this because I'm the author. All right, so this is the stuff where we're going to delete a whole lot of these things. Export so they're visible by the editor. I don't even think this matters. Yeah, so default server IP. Yeah, that's fine for now. Max connections doesn't play a role in this at all, does it? No, it doesn't. So delete that. Server ID is always 1. All right, this will contain player info. So what are we doing for this right now? Player ID equals player info. I'm guessing player info was a name. We don't have a name anymore. We could have it send over some randomly generated blob. It's not gonna matter. Yeah, it's just whatever was in your name input. I don't have a need for this, do I? What other player info? Like, what do I plan on tracking? Eventually something like score, I guess. And you might want to show every player's score and you might want to have their number there. So we form player info, what, on joining? This is on host button press and we add ourselves. That's going to have to change. This is on, when a peer connects, send them my player info. This allows transfer of all desired data for each player. On player connected, it's called from newly connected peer's ID on each other peer and on the new peer multiple times. So everyone gets this. Register my own player info. Not is server add player. All right. Yeah. How about we just have it pick a random name for now of these and just not worry about this code yet. So form player info, instead of taking it from name input, we're going to have it take it from here. So possible names, we say var name equals this, and then this just turns into name. Okay, so there's form player info. We don't need set random name. We don't need this thing. None of this should even be called anywhere. I don't even know what this function was for. Oh yeah, me testing out whether types worked. Identifier array functions not declared. Yeah, this was the random array element thing that I added. I need to add this too. Hey, what did you say to me? There's no real need for that. We could always just take this one function, but let's just do things the proper way here. Fine, let's go copy this. CP scripts slash, actually, let's just do that whole thing. All right, and what is this called? Array functions? Yeah. Okay, so we copy that in there, and then we make sure that this is auto-loaded. So we go up to project, project settings, auto load, choose the path to array functions, and click add. Okay, so now that should exist. It might not know that it exists. Yeah, I think I would need to build or something for this to get fixed. Shadowed variable base class. What variable name? Oh, node has a name? Okay, I'll just call this random name then. All right, there we go. So now on host button press, this is not a thing that needs to exist. So we need to see if we are the dedicated server. And if we are, we're just going to act like the host button was pressed, even though there's no host button. So how do we tell if we're the dedicated server? Godot dedicated server. And if we go back to this, did I write anything about this? Yeah, here it is. Resource, dedicated server, rest of the steps, read the reference link above. Godot was lagging too badly to finish this process. I'll be watching it out for revenge. Hey, baby. I'm going to do another code review at some point. I decided I'm taking tomorrow off, and today is now already kind of fully planned. I've got the whole thing over here. It's going to be this Godot prototype for about another 2.5 hours or so. Then in the afternoon, we'll tackle some PRs until we get to 2 p.m. Then it is the advice session. That'll last probably about an hour. And then that might be it. I don't know. For those who didn't hear, I already said this earlier, but I'm kind of feeling a little burned out. It's funny too, because on Monday, I just reviewed my tenets, and for sustainability, I said, I think this has been fine. Then I thought about it last night, and I was like, oh, what am I doing? There's so much going on. Hey, Rick. Okay, so dedicated server. We got to figure out that we are the dedicated server. Did I already close that tab? Well, it shows how much I know. Yeah, there it is. All right, not exporting forward. I want to tell that I am the dedicated server. And I know there are a bunch of if statements here. Here it is. So if both your client and server are part of the same Godot project, you'll have to add a way to start the server directly using a command line argument. If you export the project using export as dedicated server or have dedicated server as a custom feature tag, you can use that feature tag to detect whether it's being used. Okay, I mean, I think this is fine. I think this is what we'll do. But what else do they have written here? If you also wish to host a server when using the built-in headless command line argument, I don't think we need this. Yeah, I don't think we need it. I think we'll just have the server be a server thing that needs to be started. And just that's that. If you wish to use a custom command line argument, it's a good idea to add at least one of the above command line arguments to start a server, as it can be used to test server functionality from the command line without having to export the project. Oh, I see. I see. So that I don't need to export every single time. Okay, so we should make like we should export a function from somewhere that tells us if we're a dedicated server. So I guess we call this, if we called the first one array functions, I guess we call the other one like multiplayer functions. Or whatever. I'm not going to try to name this stuff better. All right, so this is the wrong folder though. It's in here. So we want to load up multiplayer functions.gd. And then we're going to copy the same thing we did for array functions. So extends node and is dedicated server is going to be here. So the way this works is either we have this feature, return os.has feature, or this Godot binary with headless command line argument. Yeah, I think it's just this or this. Okay, so that's how we know that we're a dedicated server. Now, just like before, we need to add this as an auto-loaded script so that this is actually available all over the place. So we add that in here and click add. So then let's just test this sort of thing. So there's no set random name. We're gonna do practically nothing here. Check this out. We're gonna do if I guess multiplayer functions dot is dedicated server, then print this is the server, else print this is the client. This is a client, I guess. All right, and that's it. And does everything else look fine? Yeah, we're not even gonna touch that stuff. So now if we were to run this one scene, it should say this is the client. Yep. And then if we run it from the command line, which I'm not totally sure how we do, but I do this through my vocal streamer thing. So we'll just look at that. Cat main.py, how does this work? Here, Godot dash path, and then specify the path to it. Okay, so let's copy paste this. Hey, Sam. So this dash dash path. And then the code is not going to be this code. It's going to be this code. Oh, this is the mono version, though. We need the regular version. And then I don't even know what the path needs to point to. Maybe the project root? Let's try this and just see what happens. Oh, and then also pass in headless. Did it work? I don't think so. Well, it says can't run because no main scene is defined. But that's pretty easy to fix. We just go define a main scene by clicking this button. Done. Okay, now we try it again. Hey, nice. This is the server. Wow, that was easy. Now, what's this thing that's open? I think this is the server right here. Can you even see that? No, you can't. And I can't right click it for some reason. Oh, yeah, is this again? Okay, force quit. What happens? Yeah, close this. Okay, so it's not really headless. If there's an icon in my, whatever this is called, the dock. I guess there's no window. So I guess it's got a neck and shoulders, but no head. So, all right, then yeah, maybe, I guess that's fine. It's just going to be a little bit confusing because I'm going to have this icon in my dock like 4 different times. So I think it's worth writing this stuff down. You can run a dedicated headless server to set this up. So there are 2 ways to do this. One is specify a command line, I'll just say this, the headless argument to Godot, e.g. this, we're going to say path to whatever. Okay, and then the other one is export the entire project as a dedicated server so that it can, well, actually, I don't know if it can only run headless if you do that. It says dedicated server here, and I can't imagine you would want a dedicated server to have a UI. I'll just write this, fine. Okay, so then we'll make a new header under here, exporting as a dedicated server. And then, and I'll say C, how do we do this? Multiplayer, exporting as a dedicated server, yeah. Now if I rename this AAA, does it fix this link too? No, it does not. Wait, does the link even work? Yes, it does. But I can't rename the header, I guess. Whatever, I don't care about that. I'll just say see the next section in this note. And then is this the reference that we have already open? Because if so, yeah, this has this at the bottom. To detect that you're running on the server. Actually, it's not even to detect that you're running on the server. It's to detect that you're running as a dedicated server. How did we check if we were the server the other way? If I just search here for server, we must find something, right? Well, let's search through scripts, I suppose. RG server. Yeah, there's is server. So I kind of conflated two different things here. I conflated being the server and being a dedicated server, and it doesn't really matter too much for this. You have to fight the OS. Well, I don't know how much easier it is on other operating systems, but yeah. Alfred, thanks for resubbing. Maybe a stupid question. What's the relation between C# and Godot? Isn't Jump Royale also written in Godot, but also C# somehow? Can I just decide which language I want to code? The short answer is yes. So Godot supports, I think, 4 languages: GDScript, C++, C#, and Visual Script. Or at least that's what it supported back when I learned about this in the first place. And so yeah, you can pick whichever one of these you want. It's sort of like if you were to go make an application on AWS, you can use practically any language. You want to use probably Rust. I mean, I'm just making things up here. I don't know if they have a Rust API, but like you can use JavaScript if you want. And this is typical of anything that is a platform. So Godot is not, some individual game that was made. Like if you were to play World of Warcraft, they only support Lua for scripting as far as I know. And that's because they're not really a platform. They're a specific game and they support what they want to support. But for platforms, yeah, you typically have a lot of languages. And what's the difference between them? It's the properties of the language themselves, but then also, unfortunately, C# doesn't allow web export right now. And this will change eventually, but this is why I haven't picked C#. Otherwise, I think I would have done this in C#. So the reason I want web export is so that I can put this on a site like, godot.bot.land or something like that. And that way you could all go to this site and it would just load the game and you'd be in it. You don't need to download anything. You don't need to trust anything. I don't need to do builds for different operating systems. So I think that's really important. Do I have that online? Site can't be reached. I think I deleted this stuff, but I don't think, oh man. Oh, what did I do to host this before? I think I deleted it all. I think this was the tunnel. Yeah, I think it was share.bot.land/something. Let me go take a look. Share.bot.land/Godot. 404 not found. I don't remember where I put this. All right, well, we'll have to figure that out eventually, but that's not important right now. So to detect that you're running on a dedicated server, and let's put a reference to this. That does not work because I don't have the link on my clipboard anymore. It's this part. I just expose a function in an auto-loaded script that looks like this. Yes, this is, I guess Python's the closest thing. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Just want to write the note about being on the server altogether. It's multiplayer.isServer. And that's really what I care about here. I don't care if it's dedicated. I guess, okay, here's what I do care about. If you're the server and you're not dedicated, then there's a problem. We need to close this. It was in /out, share.bot.land/out. Ah, yes, you're correct. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Blob. Yeah, this is the last thing that we made, and it doesn't connect to anything right now. And even if it tried connecting, I don't have the tunnel running. So, I mean, lots of problems with why this wouldn't work. But yes, that is where I put it, and that's where we want to put it again. So I guess we'll host this there next time. Well, maybe we get to it today. I don't know. Make a dedicated server, allow each player to control their own thing, automate publishing of this. Put this on share.bot.land/out. Cool. Hey, Deepak. Couldn't you mix C# and Godot script or GDScript? I'm not actually sure. Maybe you can. Yeah, I don't know about that. I kind of doubt it because you have to run a completely different version of Godot to use C#. But yeah, maybe it's possible somehow. I mean, at the end of the day, GDScript is a scripting language, so you could make an interpreter for it in C# if Godot doesn't support it. But you would probably almost never want to do something like that. And it would make typing just a nightmare. You'd have to like expose all your types between the two different languages. I also don't know if there'd be much of a need for it. Can I do a tutorial on Golang? I don't think that's the kind of thing I'm probably going to do. I do have notes on Go. Oh, that's unfortunate. maybe I don't have notes on Go. Or maybe I just called it Golang. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I have some notes on Golang, but other than that, I mean, I don't even think you'll learn a lot by reading this. I think you'll just doing the tutorial is probably enough. Okay, so where did I leave off here? Right, I wanted to test to see if we were the server. If you want to require that your game can only, that the only server that can run is the dedicated one, is a dedicated one, then assert is dedicated assert that this is true if multiplayer dot is server is true. Yeah. All right, and that's what we want to do. So how do we run this? There is no concept of being a server. You're a server when you click host. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I have an idea. What about blockchain? Am I going to do something about that? No, that's not really kind of how I do things around here. And you're totally fine to ask these questions. I mean, I get that you're new. I've got an FAQ, which unfortunately that bot is going to take a very long time to give you the FAQ. There it is. Yeah. And it kind of talks about what I do on the show and kind of what's going on here. In general, here's the plan for today. Today, the morning is going to be this Godot prototype. And then in the afternoon, we're going to do some PRs on a game I worked on called Jump Royale. We'll do a one-on-one advice session with Casey. And any extra time, I don't know, we'll just be chatting at that point. I don't think we're going to have a lot of extra time. And that's it. That'll be the 6 hours of today. Any extra time, just... Hey, Aim. Yeah, actually, this is something I've been thinking about a little bit more, is I kind of want to try more Hangout segments. So like, I've been trying to do a 3-hour block of coding, or, 1-hour block of coding, then mentoring, then another hour of something. I think it'd be nice to just have more just kind of hangout time and just chat about things. And maybe that's where it was the whole, hey, share my opinion on tech stuff, which I have yet to try. But maybe that'll feel less like, hey, we've devoted an entire stream to chatting about something. What? Yeah, yep. Hey, Terrific. I don't have a language command only because I keep switching all the time between stuff. So right now we're using GDScript because we're working with Godot. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm always going to use GDScript when I work with Godot. Later today, we'll be doing PRs in C#, even though it's Godot. And then on other days, I use TypeScript because I'm working on a bot or something. What's the keyboard model? Check out the keyboard command. YouTube commands are incredibly slow for reasons I'm not going to go into anymore, or at least not more than the surface level of the API sucks. That's about it. Oh, did someone else say something about Casey? And hey, Crows. I think I saw that. Oh, no. Sorry, I see. No, Casey from chat. Yeah, sorry about that. I had forgotten that I even mentioned the name Casey. I was like, why? What are you asking? Got turned around there. All right, so the only way we want to allow this server is if you are the dedicated server. And that's the only way we'll start this. So that this actually doesn't make sense what I just wrote here. Then just only expose hosting functionality from after checking is dedicated server. Since this only becomes true after hosting, I'm pretty sure. Like, we do all this stuff, multiplayer, blah, 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 but then you click host at some point and we do create server. Yeah, after calling create server. All right, we are learning. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I'm pretty happy about this because everything's coming together. For those who didn't see the context of this, there was a lot that went on before this that I kept writing in my journal, like Godot multiplayer, Godot multiplayer. This stuff was learning the very basics of how to get set up with this. And it's not even Godot stuff necessarily. It's like, hey, how do you host this publicly without people knowing your public IP address? And that took a long time, and like exporting took a long time, and all this other stuff, and then actually learning the concepts. Yeah. Competing for slowest API ever. It's not that, okay, slightly more detail. I don't like the API. I think there are some weird decisions, but the biggest, weirdest decision is that the quota is set to 10,000 per day, and they don't advertise how much of it you use with every call. So you get 10,000 points. Like, how many points is a call to read chat? No idea. You just have to go measure it yourself. And so over the course of a given day, you would burn through this really quickly if you had a bot like you did on Twitch. And so I have to hamper the user experience in order to allow myself to not burn through my quota so fast. Yeah. All right. So dedicated server, we have this here. We need to actually host the server if we are on the server. So this is the server. So we'll just call host game. Yeah, sure. Host game. Now, if this were a real dedicated server, you'd want some error handling and some way of going back and rehosting the game or something. I don't know. We're not going to worry about that yet. So func host game. Now, wait a second. GD script. Is this a convention, the underscore? I don't know if that means it's a private function. GD script underscore. Do I mentor? I do mentoring, but unfortunately there's no way for you to join as a new mentee. I think I have a mentoring command about that. Naming convention and code, style guide. Did they write something about underscores in here? Take advantage of it in literals. No, I don't care about that. Prepend this to virtual methods, functions. What? Prepend a single underscore to virtual methods functions the user. Okay, I think this is just a typo. The user must override private functions and private variables. Okay, yeah, private functions and private variables. Is this a convention? Yes, it is. Okay, so then it's not an actual enforced thing like the pound sign in TypeScript. All right, well, we'll still put a link here. Do I have a basic section? Yeah. Everything is public. By convention, the underscore indicates that something is private. And we'll put a reference link to that. I think I had an issue to Google's bug tracker. Have they acknowledged it? There was a, what I want to say is like an auto response. If I go back to the issue tracker what is it, corp.google.com? I don't actually know what the site is. No, that's the internal one. This, yeah. Okay. So reported by me here. Oh, won't fix. What? Hi, thanks for reaching out to us and reporting this. I'll open a documentation updates with the internal teams to add more information and details on live stream quotas. We appreciate your feedback on this. Why was this marked won't fix? And when was that done? This is ridiculous, by the way. Is there a way to see full history? There it is. Assigned won't fix 2:47 p.m. So they left this comment and immediately marked it won't fix, but added it to 3 different hot lists. I can't see that. I can't see that. I can't see that. I'm just going to ask, why was this marked won't fix? That seems to, I mean, it's not what they said, right? I'll open a documentation update with the internal team. I don't think anyone's going to see this. I don't think this even matters. I don't think anyone's going to care at Google that their documentation isn't up to date. So I'm just not even going to say anything. Yeah, contradicts the word I was looking for. Oh, man. I think they're trying to send you a message. Well, so one of the things that somebody pointed out, if you search for this, you'll see there were actually other bugs open on this, and they're all marked infeasible. It's so stupid. Documentation lacks YouTube live stream quota. Okay, this is me. Quota cost for live streaming API. And you'll see the exact same thing. Okay, no, not the exact same thing. But it's, in some of these, you'll see the exact same issue. Same response. Yeah, we opened a report with the internal teams to update documentation. We don't have an ETA. And then, you know, people talk about it and it just gets assigned as won't fix. Yep, we've opened a report with the internal teams to update documentation. I'm probably just going to ask a coworker friend to go look at these hot lists. Well, old coworker to go look at the hot lists and see what are these hot lists. Are they like, hey, customer issues we're ignoring? They're probably not. What tends to happen, or at least what I've seen, is that you need a critical mass of people who are complaining about something. And even then, there's probably some political reason in the company for why they aren't just fixing this bug. Because I don't think this would be that hard for them to do. And it's been reported for years now. So yeah, there's something going on. And it could be priority. I'm not trying to say there's something nefarious going on. I'm just saying it just seems like something like a low-hanging fruit, and enough people are reporting it and getting frustrated by it. Oh, I got to take my break. Yeah, okay, so let me just make sure I know where I left off here. Yeah, writing host game. Where I left off, write this function to automatically host the server. Then how do we launch this? I guess this is the problem. I always need to do this through the command line. Actually, I don't think that's a big problem. It'll keep the logs separate too. Excuse me. All right, so for those who want to see the game we made last that actually turned into a game, is what we're about to play, but you can only play it through Twitch. So if you're on YouTube, here's the Twitch link for right now. Otherwise, it has to watch. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hey everybody. Speedy Eternal, I did see the sub. I was sitting in the same room petting the cat, so I heard the sound. Thank you for subbing. Yeah, so this game, we are going to add in some new PRs later. One of them is bouncing off of walls instead of just getting stopped. Yeah, more than 90 works, but I think it just gets clamped to 90. And I think it's like rarely a good move to actually make in the game. By the way, for anyone who is a subscriber, you can get these particle effects and you can get name colors by using the glow command or the name color command. But it only works if you're a subscriber. So for example, if I join over here, also it doesn't even get saved on the screen, and I type name color red, you see it change to red. And if I say like glow blue, you see my particle effect change. Close the game. In the future, you can run the headless server through the editor as well. Oh, interesting. When was this? Wait a second. Oh, merged only last month. Okay, yeah. Huh, interesting. Cool, I'll write that down. So multiplayer in Godot, dedicated server. There are two ways to do this. At runtime, or no, at I guess yeah, at runtime. Either specify the headless argument or wait for this PR to be present, or at export time to detect that you're running on a dedicated server. I just expose a function in an auto-loaded script that looks like this. If you want to require that the only server that can run is dedicated, only expose hosting function. Yeah. How long do I usually stream for? Usually 6 hours a day, split up into 2 3-hour chunks. So I tend to do morning 3 hours, and then lunch, which is about an hour, and then afternoon for 3 hours. And that's generally what's been happening, with some fluctuations. You see the last stream is actually 2 hours, 3, 2, 3.5, 3, 20, 320, 320, 3, 2, 4. Yeah, so I don't know, probably works out to, on average, like 3-hour streams. Would it be against the YouTube terms of service if I create a bot as a browser plugin and interact with the chat directly via the DOM? Yes, like 100% yes. They're pretty clear that they only want you to use the API. Yeah. Oh, nice. Courageous Mayonnaise, you're first. Okay, so we're gonna write host game. So that's this, and that's what happens when you press host. And so now we just put all this stuff up there. Done. So what are we doing here? Make a new peer, create a server on that port, set our multiplayer peer. If there's an error, return error. This means it's just going to crash the game. So we really need to print what the error is. Error creating server. And I don't know what error, what is this? It's a Boolean? Returns an int. Okay, I guess let's print the int. That's not that that's going to help too much. And then we say return error, but it actually doesn't matter. We just need to close the server at this point. I mean, I guess we could try hosting again, but probably we just need to close the game entirely. I wonder how you do that. Godot close game. Well, I guess returning is how we would do that here. We don't need to return the error in this case, because we just return, and then that's that. Oh, except for that won't close the game, right? It'll still have the scene loaded. Except it's in a headless client. Yeah, we need to close the game. On the web, get tree.quit. It's not the web, though. Handling quit requests. Oh, there's get tree.quit. Okay, let's try this out. So let's just have the game close itself. All right, so that's it. That's what we're going to do. And what happens when we run that? I don't even think, I didn't build. Parse error. Okay, I don't need to build, but I do need to get rid of the parse error, which is getting rid of that. All right, let's try now. Wait, still parse error. Array functions does not inherit from node. What? I thought that was required. Oh, what is all this doing tabbed in? Oh, my bad. All right, cool. That worked. Yeah, we can just quit. All right, good. So that's what we're going to do when hosting the server fails. And then I guess return, but this probably doesn't matter because I'm guessing after a quit, we don't need to do anything else. Donald, thank you for resubbing. Good evening to you. All right, so there's our host. So starting the server, I guess we'll just say. Otherwise, we are the client. So this isn't needed. Log string would also put it in a status label, which I guess is probably fine, but we're going to need to change that at some point too. So now you press join. We're just going to do this. And it's always going to default. We're just going to use whatever IP address. Actually, you don't even need to press join. If you're on the client, you just immediately try joining. But we need to enter a retry loop in case the server's not online. So if this fails, we just try again in a little bit. Yeah. Try again in a bit and update the status saying that we're doing this. So on join button pressed, we're going to say join game. All right, now join game not found because that's what this should be. Technically, all of these things should have had underscores on them. Yeah, let's just write a little cleanup section somewhere. Yeah, let's just, yeah, let's do it now. All right, join game. Natunax or Natunax, thanks for subbing. Got a lot of subs today. Wonder what's going on. I appreciate it. All right, yeah, log string. This too should be, pretty much all of this stuff should just be private. And we might as well do it now. There's no reason writing a to-do list or to-do item to do this later. So now every single function, actually, let's just test. Watch this. Search for this. We get rid of the couple of places I copied this. And then, yeah, we can just visually see that they all start with an underscore. Easy peasy. Okay, so these signals do need to be emitted correctly, and they're not being emitted, or they're not being caught at all. Let's still look at this. We have joining the server. This just sets the text. Okay, it's not an actual history log that we have here. Make a peer. You try using the default IP. This should be set to localhost, yeah. And then this doesn't even exist. Then we try making this. We need the right protocol here. So let's say WS protocol or WebSocket protocol. WS://. So now we delete this. All right. Okay, now the try again in a bit part. I want to use a timer for this. Godot run code after time or run code after delay. Or maybe just schedule code to be run. One way was to add a timer to the scene. The other way was something else. I don't remember the something else part. This is not what I want. Code on timer. No, 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 I did not want to click that. Okay, timer, a countdown timer. Counts down a specified interval and emits a signal on reaching 0. Can be set to repeat or one-shot mode. Ah, here it is. Use scene tree.create timer. Return a scene tree timer, which will emit scene tree timer.timeout after the given time has elapsed. And we can just await it. Wow, look at that. So easy. All right, we're going to put this in here then. And we'll say, not print, we'll log string error connecting client, trying again in a bit. And how long should a bit be? Maybe 5 seconds. And after that 5 seconds, we call join game again. And I guess just return. Okay, I think that should work. Is there like a peer.destroy or something? I doubt it. I doubt we should have to destroy anything when we fail to even create it in the first place. What is this? This is something I've never seen before. This is like class documentation when I pressed F12. Normally it just goes right to the code, but this went to some GD doc thing. There's free. That's not what I meant to click. Oh no. Free. Deletes the object from memory. Pre-existing references the object become invalid. This is like weirdly highlighted. Like you can hardly read this. Huh. So joining the server. Okay, so if I were to just start the client now, that's what we would see. We'd see joining the server and then something about failing after 5 seconds. Oh no, the timeout takes like 60 seconds, doesn't it? I just want to test this quickly. I mean, I guess we are testing it, but we just got to wait for this to change. Yeah. And I think I wrote somewhere, while that's working, let's see, did I write anything here about that timeout? Because I think I did, and I think we figured something out about this. Couldn't figure out how to set a timeout. Okay. Well, that's too bad. Well, now I guess let's make sure this is actually going to do what I want it to do. So it says joining the server. This is eventually going to fail, and then we should log string error creating client, right? Then after 5 seconds, it should try again. I don't think it's going to do that for whatever reason. Or it's going to take even longer than I originally thought. We're trying to solve the halting problem right now. I guess we just give up on that. I guess we just give up. Why isn't this failing though? Huh. It must have been more than a minute. All right, well, let's try hosting the server and see if it somehow connects. Node not found name list. Is it still running anything? No, probably not. Okay, well, let's fix that then. Name list. Update player list. This isn't the thing that we need. Actually, update player list isn't the thing that we need. Because all this is doing is modifying a node that no longer exists. All right, let's try running that now. Starting the server. Did we get a connection? Would I even know? I probably would not know because I don't think I ever had to log anything. Well, this has been fun. Total exercise in futility. Let's close out of these things then, and let's go make it actually say something. So in this case, we'll say joined the server. Now we don't have any connection handlers yet. I just want to see if this works. So we're going to start the server. We're going to start the client. It does say joined. Yes, good. Okay, and the server doesn't know anything about this yet. Yeah. The underlying networking stuff does. So now if I were to close this, for one, it should detect that, but it's not going to do that yet. And then I rerun this. This should fail, and it should actually, it's not going to do anything. Now let's just start a timer. Stopwatch. Yeah, that. Okay, I know this is going to be off by a few seconds. It did say joined. That shouldn't have been possible. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, you know what? I think creating the client always succeeds. I think the problem is in creating or in joining. Okay, yeah. Well, thanks for pointing that out because otherwise I would have just sat around for a while. Yeah. So what fails is on connect failed. This part. This is where we need to change this stuff. So in this case, we're going to call join again. So on connect failed, connecting to the server failed, setting the peer to null. So we're just not going to say that. I guess connecting to the server failed, trying again in a bit. Then we wait for 5 seconds. Then we call join game. I guess we can immediately do this. Yeah, that's what I want to test. So this stuff shouldn't happen. But if this does happen, we're going to have a big problem. So I guess the whole try again in a bit part also makes sense for this. Yeah, looks pretty good. Okay, cool. Let's go test that. This one is what might take. No, this also says joined. Oh, because yeah, whoops, that was a problem. I did not mean to put that there. I meant to put that down here. Unconnected, okay. Connected to the server with ID. Yeah, that's already there. All right, let's try that one more time. Okay, so now it's joining. This is gonna fail. We know it's gonna fail. We're gonna reset this, start again. All right, it's gonna take either 30 or 60 seconds to do this. I am actually gonna wait for this because I wanna make sure this is working and then that it retries. And in the retry, I'm gonna start the server and then it should connect that time. You don't know if it actually joined last time because it always said. It's true. I never put the event handlers there. Yeah. So all we'll see is the error. That at least will print out. And does that happen at 30 seconds or at 60? Apparently at 60 or maybe 45. I don't know. Well, at most we have to wait another 23 seconds. So then I add in the event handlers and then we get the basic like, okay, you're connected to the server now. Then we start handling things like physics process, which means we need to actually, make a game. But once it's connected, it should move us into another scene. So we need to get that stuff working. I'm going to wait another maybe 6 seconds. And if it doesn't work, then yeah, it's been a minute now. I know it's hard to read because it's in dark mode. Well, then, oh, I know why this isn't going to work because I never put these things here. So it's emitting the signal, but nothing's listening to it. Oh boy. I don't know what's going through my head right now. Okay, so make the connection logic, and so we're gonna have to finish that, and then once that's done, move to the game scene. Yeah, and for that we need to make spawners and everything. The make a dedicated server parts are already kind of done. Okay, so these are going to be on both the server and the client, and I guess we can put this at the very top. This should happen before we've done anything, or else we could potentially host the game, run into an error, and not have a handler on it. So this signal is emitted, I guess, on the server and the client with the newly connected peer's ID. Why did that not work? Oh, weird. Yeah, weird. You can't rewrap comments in GDScript? It's very bizarre. This signal is emitted on the server and the client on every remaining peer when one disconnects. These signals are only emitted on the client. What? Unindent doesn't match the previous indentation level? What? I don't even believe that this is an error. Can I run this still? Parse error. What? I'm so confused. It should match the previous indentation level. Whoa, weird. Yeah, I didn't even just change anything. This is it broken, and this is it fixed. There must be a different character here. These are spaces, and this is a tab. Oh. Wow, how stupid. Yeah, tab versus space thing. Tisk tisk. All right, well now we should have everything, I think. So I start this up, we start the client. It should know that it's connected. Yeah, registering player as ID 1, registering player. Yep, both of these know that they're connected. It knows it disconnected. Cool. By the way, this is the power of Godot. It's all very easy to get this stuff set up. So connecting to servers failed, trying again in a bit. This is pretty good. Connecting failed, trying again in a bit. Now if I start this up, it should connect. Nice. Awesome. Yeah, cool. So this is our most basic network handling that we can have here. We really should say things like how many seconds it's waiting to try again or what the error is or whatever. Some more information, but we got the very basics. Oh, I'm hearing chittering through the curtain. I should really take a video of this. Let me see. Let me see if I can get one really fast and show you what she's doing. Okay, I can't get a video because she was just staring at the camera. Not supposed to do that. It's like biggest no-no in acting. So once you've connected, we want to switch scenes. What is this doing here? Player connected.emit. Oh, I think this was originally supposed to be something that would emit this to a different scene entirely. I'm not sure though, and I don't remember this. So let's search for it. Signal player connected. Yeah, lobby reference had it. Let's open this up. These signals can be connected to by a UI lobby scene or game scene. Yeah. Okay, so we want to switch to a different scene at this point. Let's go figure out how to do that. Godot change scenes. Oh, change manually. What does manual mean in this case? Wait a second, this is probably a bad idea, right? Because of the whole spawner thing. I want everyone who joins the game to be in the same state. Ooh, I don't know how that's gonna work. Spawner. Typically used to replicate nodes from server to all clients. If a client isn't connected, it'll be replicated upon connecting. For example, if you go from world 1 to 2, yeah, I think we need something like this. I don't know how we use this to switch scenes though. Add spawnable scene? No, this isn't it. It's anything that's in a child in the scene tree is going to need this. Yeah, I think what we need to do is switch to a scene that has a spawnable scene in it. Maybe the very first thing I do here is I just make it so that you can press a key and put a random thing on the screen. That's probably a good idea. So yeah, move to the game scene and then make some really basic multiplayer spawner that adds sprites to the same spot on each player's screen and make sure newly joining players get all of them. Yeah, I think it's a good way to start. Then probably after we have that like really basic logic, probably just commit and push. And then we make it so you can control player and everything. Okay, yeah. So move to game scene. Let's go figure out how we do that. Change scenes. Preload a scene. And then add child. I want to replace the current one. I wrote code myself to do this a long time ago. Where did I put that code? Oh, it'd be nice if I remember where any of these repos are. The Godot multiplayer RPG. No, not even RPG. Godot RPG, shooter RPG. That's it. I probably hang on one sec. Cat, you scratch this. Yes. Put your paws. Yes. Good cat. Good girl. All right. There. Gotta get her to not scratch that chair. So I probably put that in GitLab. Let me go take a look at GitLab off screen. Because if it's there, I want to pull this code in. So I'm not searching for this constantly. GitLab. Enter verification code. Okay, hang on a second. Engage privacy mode. Find this. GitLab. There it is. Okay. Godot Shooter RPG and Godot Shooter RPG V2. Look at these. Look at these projects. These are from years ago. I think it's this one that I want. Is this even private? Why is this private? I guess the course has a zip download. I shouldn't do that anymore. Okay, I want to download this code. How do we do that? Probably not easily. Can I just make this public? I think I'm just going to make this public. Yeah, I doubt there's anything that I actually care about not showing in here. Asset licenses. Okay, let's make this public. How do I do that? Well, I don't see a settings thing. Project settings. Okay, hang on. I'm going to do this off screen. Give me a sec. Visibility. Project visibility. Public. Users can request access. I guess no. Issues. I don't know. Only project members. Repository merge requests. Forks. Container registry. Analytics. Security and compliance. Wiki. What is all this stuff? Oh my God. There's like a million different checkboxes here. Do I need to change this for everything? View and edit files in this project. When set to everyone at access, non-project members only have read access. Oh, okay. I guess that's fine then. Container registry. Yeah, I think I want all this stuff set to just only project members. I don't really care. As long as you can just look at the code, that's all I need. Let's just close out all these other things. There we go. All right, what's after this? Enable email notifications, blah, 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 save changes. Okay, so now in an incognito tab, I should be able to access the code. Good. All right. So if anyone was ever curious about the code for my Godot project from 3 years ago, there you go. There it is. Now let's clone this. Code Godot clone. All right, so Godot Shooter RPG. Right, this was coded in GDScript, and it was GDScript that didn't have like great typing in it. So probably, if I had to guess, main.gd is what I used. Open. Yeah, here it was. Remove current scene. Remove and free the current scene from the tree. We always assume that the first child is the root of the scene. We called remove. We would free it. And then we'd instantiate a preloaded scene that we had and add child. Okay. So that's, I think, what I want to do here too. I wonder if this is changed in Godot 4 though. So now that's the next question I have. Yeah, I guess that's what this was talking about. Yeah, here it is. We can delete the existing scene. Scene change scene to file and change to packed. We'll delete the current scene immediately. I think this is new. Is this only in Godot 4? Is there no way to see that? Oh man. I know we could go back to old documentation. I'm not going to do that. But I am kind of curious when this got added. Developers can also delete the main scene though. Assuming the root node's name is main, one could do git node.free to delete the whole scene. Okay. We can hide the existing scene and we can remove the existing scene from the tree. So I don't think we ever have a reason to go back to the lobby thing in this prototype. So I think we can just delete it. Does this also remove it from the tree? Probably. I think the way I did things a long time ago was actually just totally fine here, right? Remove child and then queue free on it, but we now have this. I yeah, the only thing I don't get is they say we can remove the scene from the tree. Oh, we're not freeing it in that case. But I don't know if this frees it. What does this say? Change the running scene at the to the one at the given path after loading it into a packed scene and creating a new instance. Order of operations. Does this ever free it? Oh yeah, while still freeing the previous scene in a safe way similar to queue free. Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, so change to packed. I guess that's all we have to do. Okie dokie. So we're gonna put this over here, and then we want character select scene. We want an instance. We give us a node. We do this. We just need this, I think. And then what do we call this on? Scene tree dot. Is that a global we can access? Oh, I just noticed there's a typo there. Wait, no, there isn't. What am I talking about? Oh man, I am going nuts. Maybe it would have torn me apart. All right, so on a successful connect right here, this is only called from the client, right? On connected, okay, yep, it is. All right, so then here's what we do. We go make a new scene in Godot. Scene new. We save this, make it a 2D thing, and let's just throw in a sprite in here. There. All right, here's our new scene. We're gonna make it very obvious that we're in the new one by adding in a label that says, "You are now in the game. Welcome to the game." So much fun. All right, now let's save this as game. All right, then we want to load this one in. So it's in scene slash game. Could just rename this to game scene. Cannot call non-static function change scene to packed. Can we just do this here? No? Is it get tree? Ah, yes, it is. Okay. Excuse me. Sneezed and coughed. Okay, let's try it out. So we hit play over here. It's going to fail to connect. Cannot call get unique ID on a null value. What is get unique ID? This is on player connected, but we couldn't connect. The server's not running, right? Oh, the server is running. What? On player connected. Multiplayer get unique ID. Why would this not work? Maybe something about the server didn't match the client there? I don't know what that was. No, it's still failing. Multiplayer is null? Does that make any sense? How do I even go to this thing? I don't even see multiplayer here. Lobby line 73. I don't know how this is possible. Oh, because of this? No, that can't be it. Yeah, what am I doing wrong? Player connected, my ID. Saying multiplayer is null. I don't know how that's. We call join game. Make a new peer. Call create client. Then set our peer. And then when we get to unconnected, we would print this out. Strange. Very strange. Because, yeah, I don't see a problem with this. This says player connected and then my ID. So the server knows how to do this and the client doesn't. I must be setting something wrong on the client. We'll have to take a look at what changed between the working version I had and now. So if I start again, it's probably going to be the same error, right? Yeah. Can't call get unique ID on a null value. All right, let's go take a look at the old code then. Yeah, this one knows totally fine. All right, code Godot. What I call it, multiplayer from scratch. lobby.gd. Okay, so here we set up all these signals. Then you had to press a button to join. That button was here. We made a peer called create client. We set our multiplayer peer. Do I have a typo there? Multiplayer peer? No, I don't think so. Join game. Yeah, weird. I don't know what could be going wrong there. Because there's nothing else that's really different here. Wow, how bizarre. Yeah, I just don't see the issue. Okay, well, maybe we should search for this. Get unique ID. And what's the error I'm getting? On a null value. Yeah. Desk, thanks for the resub. Hi to you too. Yeah, Twitch chat is very quiet today. I don't know what's going on. There are like more subscriptions than there are chat messages at this point. I wonder if something special about today somehow. Or if what I'm doing is just it's exceptionally boring. No one else seems to be having this same problem. Oh, wait a sec. I wonder if it's because when you join, we switch scenes and that deletes the current scene. Okay, yeah, that's probably the issue. Yeah, I think this is the problem. Oh my God. All right, I think that's why. And I bet if I restart this now, it'll all work. Yep. Okay, well, at least I figured it out. Listening carefully, very focused. Hey, Beppo. Can't chat due to being at work. Desk says while chatting. Well, okay, that's fine. I don't necessarily mean to call people out, by the way. I'm just kind of curious sometimes when this happens. Like what causes the blanket quietness? Too busy watching me learning. Thanks, Casey, for the sub. Xbox Showcase. Oh, cool. I'm using Godot's eNet P2P library. I'm using their WebSocket one because I wanted this to be hosted online. So whatever this is backed by. Yeah, I guess just WebSockets. I don't think eNet is involved for that. This is not peer-to-peer though. This is all going through a server. All right, so I'm glad I figured this out. The problem is that if you call change scene to packed, we're deleting everything in the script. So now it's trying to call, it's already freed everything up and it's trying to call a function on something that's been freed. Script. I think 40 subs. Just give you a number. Blind hope. All right, so there are a couple ways we could do this then. We could replace the current scene and we could just not remove this one. And I think we have a couple of functions that I mentioned here. Change scene to pack, change scene to file. Yeah, I guess I don't want to do that. We just hide the existing one and add the new one to the tree. This is going to be a little bit weird because we're going to have, yeah, we're going to have this lot. We need this lobby scene to be around if I want these signals to still work. So let's go back over to this. We're not even going to, I guess we could remove child on this and just not free it. And then add the next child. All right, let's try this. This is definitely strange. So current scene, remove child, do not free it. Remove the current scene, but don't free it. So that we don't, we still have a multiplayer reference. I should say reference to multiplayer, yeah. Okay, so remove that and then go get our game scene and add that in. So I guess we need to instantiate this. All right, I think that should work. So we'll make a func switch to game scene, and that way we can write all the comments in one spot. And then we'll just call this here. We can't free the current scene since that would cause us to lose a reference to multiplayer, which also means that we can't call this. This is so tedious to write when you can't rewrap comments. Hey, Goose. Twitch chat feels like it's broken every other day. Slight exaggeration. It's really too bad hearing about this stuff because it doesn't inspire confidence as a streamer. YouTube themselves just said something. I think the CEO said something. YouTube CEO announces 4 goals for 2024. Something like this I just read yesterday. Yeah, this one. So big bets for 2024, and they are AI will empower human creativity. Creators should be recognized as next generation studios. YouTube's next frontier is a living room and subscriptions, and protecting the creator economy is foundational. I mean, look, this is all filtered through a CEO and probably many levels of people coming up with OKRs for the whole year, but this inspires more confidence than hearing what I hear about Twitch. Okay. Since that frees the current scene. So all we do, instead, we just remove the current scene without freeing it and then add the new one. Looks good. Delete all this stuff. Delete this. And now I think we should be fine. So now we should switch to the game when we hit the play button. Non-existent function instance. This is probably changed from what it used to be 3 years ago. Because I'm pretty sure this would have worked 3 years ago. So we preload a packed scene and then what? What does it have on it? It's .instantiate. Okay, .instantiate. It's definitely different. And now this is no longer a packed scene. It's just game scene, I guess. What is the type of this? It's probably game scene if I had to guess, although that's not a type. What is the type of this thing? It's a node. Okay. I guess that makes sense because that's what we had here too. All right, now that should work. Try and tell me this doesn't work. All right, red means that it worked. Just ignore this. Invalid set index text with value of type string. Okay, yeah, this is a different problem. And where is it coming from? 56, 73. All right, 73. This is not text, apparently. I don't believe it. Oh, wait, no, there's no status label anymore. Oh, because we removed this. Oh, darn it. Oh, man. What am I doing? Did you call me Sev? Is this... Explain this. Yeah, explain this. Get a lot of welcome to the chat room. I've been having that too. Oh. Oh my God. Okay, never mind. I know what you're talking about. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I stream. I was streaming under the name, or I was playing under the name Savo, which is pronounced Sev, but I had someone call me Kev once, and I'm like, okay, this person does not know how to pronounce names. I have a different name that no one should know that starts with Sev. Anyway, hi, yes, I stream. And I work in Godot. It really threw me for a loop. Yeah, howdy. least my Twitch messages get delivered the same day I send them. I sent a message last December in Teams. I was wondering where it went the other day. Got sent yesterday. Okay, that's pretty crazy, but there's got to be some explanation for that. Yeah. I wonder who you are. Oh wait, Adrek. Yeah. No, never mind. I recognize your name. And now I think I even know where you were standing. Pillar 6, I want to say. All right. Yeah, I'm sort of all over the place today. I was just saying earlier that I've been a little burned out and um I'm taking tomorrow off. I don't even know what I'm going to do because I've been going nuts. Anyway, so the problem that we were having here is I switch scenes and then I no longer have status label in the scene tree. So this is something I want to read about in Godot. We have this whole thing. One can still access the data. There's no need to move any more nodes to save data. More data is being kept in memory. So it doesn't look like we have the same paths in the scene tree if we do this. Git node root main. Yeah, no, I'm not sure about this. Huh. We're going Godot. Have a good stream. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I've done a lot of Godot stuff in the past. I made a course on it a long time ago. And in this course, we covered this. If you ever played Realm of the Mad God, there's a sort of a clone of this that I had made. And then I just kind of stopped. Why isn't this working? Oh, there we go. Yeah, then I just sort of stopped using the game engine for like 3 years. And now, there we go. Yeah. And now I'm getting back to things I'm like, I want to work on multiplayer stuff. So yeah, that's what we're doing. All right, what is this shorthand for? GD script. I think it's git node. Yeah, git node, node path. There's a git tree function to return the scene tree. So this doesn't exist. I want to put a breakpoint here and find out. And maybe we can do that. Except for, I don't know, does it respect breakpoints that are set in Visual Studio Code? Probably not. No, it doesn't. Can I set a breakpoint anywhere through here? I think we would need to load this up through Godot itself. I don't know if I even, oh man, I really am all over the place here. Godot engine. Did I write anything about debugging when you have an external editor? Visual Studio. I do not know. I think we need to figure that out. So I removed the old scene, so I don't have access to status text. I'm fine with that, but I want to debug this, and I don't think I ever wrote notes on how to debug when using Visual Studio Code. Well, an external editor, I guess. All right, so Godot debug with external editor. It's mostly just, how do I set breakpoints? Using an external editor. Because I don't even think you can open this anymore inside of Godot. Like if I go over to the script view, oh, no, never mind, you can. Wait, it knows there's a breakpoint though. It doesn't know there's a breakpoint. Oh, well, there we go. Oh, well then I should just write that down. Yep, look at that. Works exactly like how you'd expect. All right, let's go find the notes I had on that external editor. I'll copy this reveal in Finder. I just want to copy the path to this. There's probably a way to do that. Path. Yeah, copy file path. All right, so copy, switch into that. Oh, this is not an absolute path. Notes, public, CDO. Yeah, this. All right, now we search for external. So this was in the scripting stuff that I had, and I don't really know why I wrote it there. It should be in the engine, I think. But let's go take a look at that note anyway. So GD script, external editor. Yeah, using with Visual Studio Code. Some features are rough around the edges. Visual Studio Code extension that I installed is this one. Okay, I don't think this belongs here. Yeah, I don't think this belongs here. I think we just copy paste all this out of here and put it in the engine. There we go. Now, the reason I did this is so that we can talk about debugging. I couldn't figure out how to set breakpoints through visual, or no, it's not really I couldn't figure out how to set them. It's I couldn't figure out how to get Godot to respect Visual Studio Code's breakpoints. So it seems that you still need to set them through Godot. You can click, what's it called? Script. Did it say script? I think it does, yeah. Can't see because of my camera in the way. You can click script at the top of the editor and load the script internally, even with use external editor set. Yeah. Then you can set a breakpoint by clicking in the gutter. Yeehaw. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right, well, now we can actually test this out. So this is all me yak shaving until we got to this point. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to continue from here. How do we do that? It might be this button, but I kind of doubt it. No, this is run project. Pause running script. There's a way to continue in the debugger, and I just don't know where. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to let this go through a couple times. And then we get to this. Yeah, so I need to get it to the point where we're on this for the first call. So status label should still exist every time. Is there a way to type? Is there like an expression evaluator here? All I see is filter stack variables. I guess if I click remote, I can see what's going on over here. Yeah, here we have it. Lobby and then status label. So the next time we get here, we won't have a status label. Yeah, now we have lobby and then node 2D. Oh, I see what's happening. Oh, I wonder if this changed in the last 3 years. So what I was expecting to have happen is that lobby would be moved out of here. What did I even do? Maybe I'm just thinking about this the wrong way. Somewhere we have that node removal. Where is this? Game scene. Current scene, get children 0 and then remove child. Yeah, this is not removing what I expected to remove. All right, there's probably a better way of doing this then. Also, this should not be the difficulty here. The reason I'm running into this is because I looked at old code that I had and thought, oh, I should still do things that way. And apparently we shouldn't. All right, let's just delete all these tabs and go find what we really want to do. Godot, remove current scene. All scenes are a child of the root node. So in order to remove a loaded scene, you have to call get root and then remove child. This is 3.1. I just want to see the root child node. So get tree.root. I think that's what we want to remove. Get tree.root. And I don't know what this even means if you don't have if you don't have anything else in the scene at that point. In fact, let's put a breakpoint there and find out what this is doing. Switch to game scene. Where is this? Wait, where is this indeed? Something is amiss here. We should have a switch to game scene in here. I don't even see it. What line is this? 103. Is this not even my up-to-date code? It's not. Oh, man. I remember this being a problem a long time ago. There's some way to refresh this maybe. Or maybe we just reload the entire thing. Close. And then open lobby. No, it's opening in an external editor now. I don't know how to do this. Huh. And I just wrote in my notes that this was possible. Wow. I don't know how that was ever there then. And I never changed this project to allow me to open this. Yeah, it only opens in an external editor now. And there's no way to set breakpoints through here. Like I can't just put one here. Right? This isn't going to work. It only knows about this breakpoint. But this is old code now, right? No, now this is the new code. What? Okay, this is super messed up. Did I save in VS Code? I did, yeah. It saves every time I switch windows. Oh wow, talk about confusing. Okay, couldn't figure out how to get to respect this, so it seems you still need to get them through Godot. You can't easily load the script in Godot with use external editor set. So you need Godot to load the script itself. And the only way I could find to do this is to have an error in the script so that Godot stops on that error. At that point, you can set a breakpoint by clicking the gutter. So, but then nothing refreshes this. Okay, well, whatever. We're going to figure this out. Then I'm going to take a break. And you can all play Jump Royale. So I want this to be here. All right, now let's get rid of the original breakpoint that we had, this. And what do we try logging? I don't even know where we try logging the time it fails. I think it's, I don't know, another player connecting or something. Anyway, let's hit this button. Okay, so switch to game scene. We currently have the lobby scene with a status label underneath. As soon as I go over this line, okay, that's not expected. Nothing actually changed. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. So now nothing's going to break, I guess. Yeah, it just has two scenes loaded at the same time. What is Adam's word per second speed? Check out the WPM command. Whoops. There we go. Oh, whoa, I forgot about that. That was not correct. Always amazed by the amount of notes you take. I have a habit of like, what's the point of making a note for a silly little one-off? And then it's never a silly little one-off. It sometimes is though, and I think that's where people get burned. It's confirmation bias. You look at the times you took notes and they didn't matter and you think, this is why I shouldn't take notes. But then the times where they would have mattered, you're just like, well, what are the odds of that happening again? I'm an elevated being. You funky monkey. I really want to do a test. Any videos? Considering if I should try to make more notes. Well, like I said, I'm going to make an organization course sometime this month. And it's going to cover everything. Note taking, and then a whole bunch of other topics I'm not going to keep listing out every single time. But I have not started that yet. My wife was traveling as of Saturday. And so I've had more time for kind of catch up stuff, I guess. And I just, like I said, I've been doing so much. And I was thinking about even this weekend, like someone popped into Discord and they asked something that I just never expected. I made this project a long time ago. Where is it? This was kind of sort of like partially a joke. It was a way of typing English on a piano. And someone came into Discord this weekend and said, hey, I want to use this. But they didn't really know coding stuff. So when they got to these instructions and they're like, oh, hey, how do I they didn't know what CD app meant. So they made a directory called CD app. And it's like, I'm not saying this to make fun of them whatsoever. That took quite a long time to work through this. I actually learned how to set up a VM for Windows on Mac. I'd only ever made Windows VMs on Windows. And so I needed to get that program working. It's called UTM. And that wasn't straightforward. And I kept getting stuck in some stupid boot sequence. And anyway, there's a lot of stuff that happened. And I was like, at the end of all of that, I got this person set up to use this program. That's it. That's what that time worked out to be. I got some knowledge out of it too. I got the satisfaction of having helped somebody. But that's one of the things I did on the weekend. That was not something I'd been planning on doing. It was not something that took a short amount of time. Do people not use parallels? They might, but that I think costs money. And whatever I used, UTM was free. Was it just parallels.com? So I'll just directly go to it. Yeah, there was a buy now thing on it. So I just tried UTM. Just watched the typing with the piano video. That's so crazy. It was a lot of fun to do that. Really, the joke part of it was just learning how to be good enough at it. I like the idea of this as a product. Not that many people have a use for it. And to get good at it is nuts. And now you can just dictate text into your editor anyway. This is me speaking normally, and you can see it'll pick up most of the words that I say. So it's like you really don't have much of a reason for typing on an unusual typing implement anymore. You can just dictate most of the things you want to say, and AI will fill in the blanks. There have been various. Someday. I don't like how accurate that was. Is that free? That thing that I was using, this is just part of VS Code. You just press Alt, Command, and then V on Mac, and that's it. You can just start speaking into your editor. And if you have Copilot, you could already do this, where you could say something like, add a signal for when somebody disconnects. I don't know. I don't actually have anything else I want to say. And then, okay, here it already has one. So it just changed a comment for it. I didn't really have anything meaningful to tell it, but yeah. It's cool when someone wants to use some random project you made in unique ways too. Yeah. And I like that. I guess my point of that whole thing was that was something I wasn't planning on doing. Then on Sunday, I helped a friend out and that took an hour to do too. And I feel like I need to disconnect on the weekends, and I'm not doing that. And now I'm talking about making a course in March, and I didn't carve out the time for that. So when's that going to happen? Copilot isn't free. No, yeah, Copilot's not free. But I'm just saying that the way we're interacting with computers is totally changing. And I'll still just never forget years and years and years ago when I had this stick microphone, and they touted this new feature of it can record what you say right into text. It can transcribe it for you. And you tried it out and it was horrible. It was just horrible. And you were like, well, this could be kind of cool if it worked, but I have to be really slow and clear. And now just not as much. And a year from now, maybe it can do even better. So I still don't know exactly what I want to do with this. I at least figured out the debugging thing. Need to figure out what I'm doing with removing the scene from the tree. It's still there when I remove the root. Yeah, programming has certainly changed a lot. All right, I will be back in a little bit. We're going to take a break. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Boss Nomad, I saw those jumps at the end. Good job. That was your first place win. And yeah, I saw you too, Museus. Close the game. Good girl. The cat jumped off the chair and used the scratch pad. That is a win. Am I saying that right? Because I know I wrote your name down. Museus, yeah, Museus. Scary jumps. All right, so the way that I ended up getting this working is now both scenes are there, and I need to remove one. I want to remove this. I think what I was... Excuse me. I want to somehow remove lobby from there altogether. I just don't know how to do that. And I don't want to free it. Oh, in fact, I wonder if this is never the way you were supposed to do things. I wonder if just freeing it is all I ever needed to do. You know, I kind of wonder if this just points to me wanting a different structure for all of this. Like, what if instead of deleting the lobby scene or removing it from the tree or something, what if we just... What if we kept lobby around in some other, like an auto load thing? Something like that. Yeah, I just don't know what to do for this. Get children 0. I'm either removing just status text or I'm... I don't know. There's got to be a way to do this. Remove child node. I guess this thing is a node. Could I just remove this? Remove child this? Apparently not. Oh, this is a control. And what was I doing? Get tree.root? Yeah. I don't know. And I guess root get child 0 is the same thing as just get children 0 here. Set the scene to invisible. Not sure what the goal is right now. The goal is just to switch from the lobby scene that I have to the game scene. And when I did this in the past, I would... Where is this? When I did this in the past, I would get the first child and remove it, and then just add the new scene. And I guess that's not the way to do things anymore, because now instead of getting the root of the scene, I'm getting the label within that scene. So I think get children is returning different things from what it used to. And I couldn't remove the... Oh, maybe the reason I couldn't remove the root is because then there would be literally nothing in the scene. And I guess you always need to be showing a scene. So maybe I need to add this first. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have any great ideas for this. I don't know how I would have done this a while ago, though, because this would have run in the same problem that I had then, right? We would always call remove current scene before adding the new one. Yeah. But then I guess we'd also free that scene, and I'm not freeing it now, and I don't want to free it. Hey, reformulate. Yeah, wow, I really don't know. All right, well, I want to find another resource that's not this. And you know what? Even in the demos that we saw for multiplayer, there were still some things that might have helped. So I think this example might have one. Start game. What is that? It just says game.start, and what is _game? It is a container with the game in it. Okay, well, you know what? Since all that's on the lobby screen is just a status label, we could just hide the status label. That would be fine. Does change scene to file work? The problem with change scene to file is going to remove the existing scene and free it. And normally that would be fine, but here we have all this multiplayer stuff that we want to save. And that if we were to free this scene, we would lose multiplayer here. And so there's another way we could do this. We could make another scene entirely and keep that always loaded. We could have this be part of game. We could, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Probably an auto load. Yeah, so an auto load is one way of doing things. The other way of doing things, I guess, is just getting our status label and just hiding it. That's our cheapo way of doing this for right now. Visible, is visible a thing? Yeah, visible equals false. And then put this here. All right, let's try running that. Yeah, that's it. Well, that's probably the easiest thing to do. Instead, we just hide the only element in the current scene without freeing it. Yeah, there, that's it. All right, well, that was a lot of time spent on not a lot of stuff. Let's go find the tasks that I wanted again. They are, actually, they're just in the today command. I'll just go get them from that. There we go. And I'll save them over here. Godot prototype. Okay, so move to the game scene. Done. Make some really basic multiplayer spawner that just adds sprites to the same spot on each player's screen, and make sure newly joining players get all of them. Yeah. Then eventually you want to be able to control players through this. So I'd be pretty happy if we even just got this thing working. So now the game scene has an icon and a label. We actually don't want that anymore. Maybe delete the icon. We want a multiplayer spawner. Multiplayer spawner. And we need to give it a path. So we'll add another thing here that's just a node 2D that is spawned icons, I guess. And then the path that we assign is going to be the spawn icons. I've never used this before, by the way, so I don't know how this is going to work. I'm guessing a spawn limit of 0 means that there is no limit. Yeah, there is no limit. Auto spawn list. What is this? This I don't know. I don't know what that is. Spawner, here it is. Adds a scene path to spawnable scenes, making it automatically replicated from the multiplayer authority. Okay, I mean, that's fine, but then what's the auto spawn list? I don't know. Yeah, I don't even see this here. Wait, what? Am I just making this up? Auto spawn list. What is the documentation for this? I mean, I'm in the documentation, I suppose. And I don't see this? What are these elements anyway? Scenes? I mean, I guess they can be scenes. Can they be scripts? No, they have to be scenes. Okay. So whatever's in here is in the auto spawn list. But what does it mean to be in the auto spawn list? Oh man, I really want to figure this out. Multiplayer spawner, auto spawn list. Defines the scenes to be automatically replicated when added as a child. Okay, so we need to tell it which ones it's going to use for that. All right, I see. Okay, what do we do in this one then? So this is copied to the clipboard. Let's write this in here. The auto spawn list is a list of scenes that will be automatically replicated when added to the specified spawn path in the scene. Okay, right, spawn path, yep, cool. So we, in this thing, what was this even called? Code Godot. I didn't save it here. I saved it in here, didn't I? Oh, what is this thing called? Godot demo projects? I don't think it was that. No, it wasn't this. What is this thing called? I guess we could search for any of the code that they use. Yeah, so change level, for example. It's not even in here. Are you kidding me? Where did I save this? Did I make this up? If I go to project list, it's got to be in here, right? Scene replication. It's in downloads. Oh my God. Home, download, scene replication. All right, so it should be in here. Yeah, there it is. Ooh, wow, great. All right, so somewhere in here, they have their multiplayers. Well, let's just open this whole thing. They have their multiplayer spawner thing. Where is that? Here it is. And the spawnable scenes is level? Level spawner? What? There are two though. Then the level itself has a spawner, and its spawner spawns players. Okay. Interesting. And how do they transition between these things? Because they figured out a way to do this. They have a start game thing here. What's that do? UI.hide. Ah. Ah. And UI is what exactly? We go into here. UI is just a control. It's probably easier to load this up. This one. Okay, I saw it flicker on the screen really fast. Here it is, UI. So what is this? I see. I see. Okay. So they're doing what I ended up doing that I thought was a hack, but maybe this is also a hack because it's just a demo. So they get rid of all this UI that shows. This is just going to be hidden. They have a level spawner, and then the level spawner points to level and has a spawn limit of 1. So that can be where the level spawns in. So that when you newly connect, you get the correct level. For us, this was just going to be the game scene. I'm not sure if I want to copy that. Like, do I want a spawner for the level? And what would it mean to not have it? I guess, okay, let's try without that for now. Yeah, let's try without that for now. Let's just see what happens. And I'll just write this down as a question that I have. Question, do I want a multiplayer spawner for the game itself? This, the code in scene replication, which is, I guess, this code. So the code in scene replication just hides the UI, sort of like how I'm hiding the status label, which I should put into a UI component to be hidden. Okay, I know what we're doing. So we have the multiplayer spawner. We need another scene that represents something that we can spawn, because I guess it needs to be saved as a scene. So we'll create a new scene, and we call this, I don't know, spawnable. Doesn't really matter. All right, and a spawnable is just going to be identified by a sprite. Did that do anything? No, didn't do anything. All right, well, just add child node sprite 2D and give it our icon. Drag this over there. Okay, so there's our sprite. So now a game multiplayer spawner has a spawnable, can be added here. So anything that gets into that should just be replicated to everybody. And they get put into here. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. So now we just need a way of being able to add these. How do we do that? Well, the game doesn't have a script right now, but something in here is presumably going to do this. So let's attach a script. Sure. Okay. So I only want this to be called on the server. In that scene replication code that we had, we did this for the players. Yeah, set physics process is for ourself or for the server. So we only want this to work for the server. So we put this in game.gd. The server is the only thing that's going to do this. And in is it process or is it physics process? It's physics process. All right, and in here we're going to do something where, I don't know, let's just add in 3 nodes, I suppose. So say like num nodes to add equals 3. If num nodes to add, all right, we need a bar there. If num nodes to add is greater than 0, then add a node. And num nodes minus equal 1. All right, func add node. Let's also rename this. Okay, so adding a node is just going to be making a new spawnable, which we already have that packed scene from over here. So we're just going to do this pretty much. And we're going to say spawnable scene. This is going to be spawnable. And then we want to give it a position. Sure, that's whatever. I don't know. Let's just say 0 to 500, 0 to 500. Doesn't need to be anything too crazy. And then random number. How do we get a random number again? It's like rand I % something. I don't remember. Really need to just write something down about this. Godot random number. Yeah, this. Then % and then a thing. Okay. Okay, copy paste this there too. All right. So I think we're good. Basically what this is saying is on the server, when we go into the game, we're going to process this. We're going to add 3 nodes. They're going to be at random locations. But does the server move to the game correctly? No, it's only the client that does. So the server has no concept of adding this stuff. Well, the server could just always have the game be loaded. Although in this case, we probably only want to load once a player is actually in the game. So maybe let's do that. So in here we have on player connected. If we are the server, so if server, so now just throw this into the else. If we're the server, we're going to say switch to game scene, but only if we haven't already switched yet. So we'll just say has switched to game equals false. And then in that code I just wrote in switch to game. Yeah, if not has switched to game, and then set it to true. Okay. All right. All right, let's try this out. Where is this running? Here. So we restart the server. We go start up another client. And it's already wrong. Why is it wrong? First of all, what's this error? Delta's never used it. I don't care about that. Nothing happened over here either. I wonder if it even switched to the game. Let's print something out. Ever consider one of those Vim key binding for your browser add-ons? Those highlight links with little pop-ups, pressing buttons, clicks the corresponding link. I've thought about something like that. I've never ended up using it. I don't actually use Vim key bindings anywhere except for in Vim. So I don't want to end up overriding all the key bindings. I think what you're talking about is more like an ace jumper kind of thing where it's like you can just go to links quickly without having to click them. And you know what? Firefox actually has something pretty good for that. It has a link find, and then you can just start typing the text. I think that works pretty well. But no, I just ended up switching the mouse for that. So switching the game scene, we'll write this here. And it should actually know that it's switching to the game scene. Here it should know that I'm disconnected now, right? Well, it probably does, but let's just restart this anyway. Okay, did it say it's switching? Yes, it did. So now let's also, I guess, log over here, print adding a node to the scene. So this should print out 3 different times. Oh, wait a second. I'm not adding this in the right spot. Oh, this needs to be in like spawnables or something, right? Is that what I called this? Spawned icons. All right, that might be the issue. Let's go try that out. Hey, Chris. It's going well. I have been making pretty good progress. I've been learning a lot. I think it's a little slower than normal maybe, but it's not too bad. Hey, look, we got 3 things. So it probably said this here, right? Adding a node to the scene, adding a node to the scene, unable to auto spawn with reserved name. Make sure your replicated scenes to add your replicated scenes via add child node true. What's the true do? Internal? What is that? If internal is different from disabled, the child will be added as internal. Hide internal nodes from the user so the user won't accidentally delete them. Oh, I don't care about that. Yeah, I don't want that, but I do need to give it a name, I guess. Spawnable. That name equals spawnable number %s percent num nodes added. I don't know. This is. Yeah. So now we'll have 1, 2, and 3 be there, and now we won't have a name collision. Let's see if that works. Refresh this, refresh this. All right, did it work? Yeah, we added 3 nodes. Presumably they're here, but they look like they're on top of each other. Why is that the case? Because they should be spawning from 0 to 300 or 0 to 500. I probably messed that up. Position is 0, 0. Yeah, position 0, 0 for all of these. Well, there's our problem. Does this not do what I expect it to do? Or maybe we can't set the position until it's been added to the scene? Let's search my other code. Godot shooter RPG for set or position equals. Let's instead search for add child. Okay, so where do we add, let's say, a projectile? Yeah, that. Line 87. We call init and then we call add. And I'm pretty sure init, we search for projectile here. Where's projectile? Scripts, this is not even the right place. Okay, fine. Projectile. I'm guessing init sets a position. Yes, it does. So then that's probably not the issue. Could be the random numbers. Could be that these aren't actually working the way I expect them to. But it says random number between 0 and 49. Maybe it's not the scene I want to position. Put the sprite within that scene. Hey, banana. I don't know. Let's just print this out. Adding %s to the scene at %s. Yeah. No. I already knew what I wanted. Yep, there we go. Cool. Let's try that. We'll title this server so it hopefully gets a colorful name. Yeah, it's purple now. Not that I can see it. And then we'll run this. All right. And then over here, click play. So where does it think it's adding these? It thinks it's adding them at very exotic locations. 446, 429. But then I don't see them there, which probably means, oh, you know what it probably means? It probably means that we need to synchronize that stuff. Ha ha ha. Okay, yeah. I just realized that's how this should work. Well, you live and learn, right? So how are they doing this stuff? Player itself has a server synchronizer, which synchronizes its position. Easy peasy. All right, let's go do that. Check this out. This is going to be super simple. We go into spawnable. We add in a synchronizer, and we tell it to sync its position. sprite 2D. Well, actually just the whole thing's position, I guess. Position. And that's it. We're done. Now let's restart this. Well, I think we're done. I think we need to restart the server, actually. Whoa, look at that. It worked. Okay, cool. So now I got these things replicating. Now, if I were to join on many clients, in fact, what if we spawned 3 nodes per client that joined? That could be kind of interesting to see. Also, how big is this? Oh, every time we join, we'll see the same ones actually, which is kind of cool because the server generated them. This is already great. All right, so height-wise, I think generating them is fine. I think maybe width-wise, we generate them up to like 1,000. Okay, so the thing I said I wanted to do is add nodes every time a player joins. So switching to game scene. Let's just call, how do I want to do this? I could just say num nodes to add is going to be 3 again. What do I save this as? What does it get stored as here? I close the game. Okay. I don't know what's going on right now. What? Oh, this is because I have a breakpoint set? I don't want that breakpoint set. Oh, this is so unwieldy. How do I stop this breakpoint delete? Unexpected path after identifier. Oh, because I typed a $sign and then never did anything with that? Did I even do that? Yes, I did. All right, so what I was going to do is go to remote here. It is in lobby. It is in node 2D. That should really be named game. And then, that's it. Just call it game. So game dot, I don't think you can even do this. But let's try. In fact, let's just delete this. Yeah. Let's see how that works. Yeah, you can't do that. Oh, wait, no, I never restarted the server. Ignore me, ignore me. Okay, that did work. Okay, so we got these 3 positions. Remember that shape. It's like a lowercase r. And now we hit play again, and we should still see that lowercase r, but we also see another lowercase r position. It forms an M if you look at it all together. And so now if we hit play again, we'll get another 3. There's our original M constellation. Now it's forming a circle. It's closing it in. So if we were to connect with multiple players at once, hey Chaka. And the way we do this is by going to debug, run 2 instances, hit the play button here. I guess this didn't really prove anything. But it worked. Yeah, neat. All right. Where does that put us? So make some really basic spawner that adds sprites to the same spot on the player's screen. Okay, so I should write this down in my notes over here. Spawner only controls that you're going to have the nodes in both places. Note, spawners only replicate that the nodes exist. It won't replicate anything else about them. Well, it won't replicate. Probably replicates their name, like their position. For that, you want a multiplayer synchronizer. Ooh. Actually commented on your corn video about how you went about making the plates. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I know who you are. I hope you end up getting a corn, and I hope you actually figure out the plate thing too. I am really happy with this case, but this was sort of like a custom made thing for me, I suppose. And so maybe if you end up making a corn, you won't have exactly the same dimensions and can't just use it. But you can always talk to the person I mentioned on YouTube, and they'd probably be happy to work with you. Ordered all the parts yesterday. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah. Man, I think this is great. I like using a keyboard like this, and I think a bunch of people started buying split keyboards on Discord and everything. I'd like to think I had a small part in that. So committing and pushing is the last thing that I wanted to do here. And actually, we're getting close-ish to the end of the time that I had here allocated for this. What's nice about the... Oh, wait, no. No. What I wanted to do is I wanted to verify this. Is this even true? Replicates spawnable nodes. Spawnable scenes. How does it replicate them? Spawned and despawned. Receive data parameter? Huh. Wonder what data has in it. It's on automatically. Yeah, I wonder if that gets the data about this thing. Turns locally spawned instance already inside the tree as a child of node. Spawns only needed for custom spawns. Yeah, I don't understand though why they did this. Buddy has a nice 3D printer. I've dabbled in Blender. Oh, cool. Yeah. Also, the nice thing about that is if you ever do want any differences, you can just make them yourself. I think the issue with this one that we had originally is the person making this did not have access to the keyboard. I just sent them the schematic and they figured something out through there. And it turned out to be pretty good. But I sort of had to like jam the keyboard in to get it to fit. So it wasn't absolutely perfect. But now that it's jammed in, it's pretty nice. Like I can't separate these anymore. Hey, Caleb. How's Abby doing? She's doing well. She's still over here? No, she's not. Yeah, she's doing well. Beginner programming in Python, enough to switch to Godot and its GDScript and make games? Yeah, I think so. I think the nice thing about games is that they're so visual and you get feedback immediately. And the other nice thing about Godot specifically, if I were to show you this, for example. So, okay, we have all of these different spawnables in here. Watch this. Give me a sec because I have like 40 different editors open. So I got to close out of a lot of these. I think this one. Okay, anyway, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to change this so that this just says pass. And then we're going to, in physics process, we're going to say, what's the easiest way to do this? Let's just do position equals new position or new vector 2. Hang on, I will show you this in just a sec. Position.x plus delta position.y. Okay. Now I want to do set physics process true. This is all leading up to something, don't worry. Never mind. I think I messed up. Well, what I wanted to show you is you can make changes while the game is running, but I think I've already disabled something. Yeah, so now you can see these are very slightly moving. And if I wanted to see, okay, how do I make them move faster? I could say something like times 10 here. And you see they're moving faster. I mean, even the text is moving. Times 30, they're moving again. So the nice thing about this is I'm making changes to my game live as it's running. If I want them to go in the opposite direction, I can put a minus sign here. It's like, this is really powerful because if you don't really know programming, then you might think, well, wait, don't I need to write everything and have it be perfect and then go make sure I'm like, I don't know, calling functions the right way, testing things out. And with Godot, with GDScript, you can just make a change, see if it does what you want it to do. And if so, great. Now you can just keep that change. And I was like, you know what? I don't really like any of this. I don't like how I did this. I just go back to what I had. So I think it's a great way to learn. And I don't think you need to know a whole lot to be able to dive into this stuff. Once you start getting into sort of harder game concepts, you will need to learn quite a lot. The nice or not nice thing about games, depending on how you look at it, is a game contains everything. It's got it's got a story, it's got graphics, it's got audio, it's got the actual like game logic in it. You know, if you are considering the business aspect, you've got marketing, you've got the actual business itself, you've got, I don't know, legal side of it. You have kind of everything you would ever expect out of sort of any side of development. You can find a spot for it in games. Yeah, physics, math, back end, front end, like all of the different realms of the development that you might do. Headaches. Yeah, it's got plenty of headaches. Want to make a 3D delivery game? Yeah, I would just say this. Um, the game that you start with should probably not be like the dream game you want to make. I would say start with basic stuff. Start with like, make Tetris or make something based on a game that you like that you're just messing around with. But yeah, a lot of people are like, I want to make a super expensive RPG or I don't know, an FPS with a bunch of players at once. And it's like, yeah, I think you could do that. And I think even if that were your first game, you could get it to work, but it's just you're less likely to get it to work. You switch keyboard layouts ever or ever sway away from QWERTY? I switched to Colmac about 9 months ago, and I did a video on that too. I don't know if it was a success exactly. I feel like I'm typing slower than when I was on QWERTY. Yeah, I want to make GTA 6. Well, and like those are good aspirations to have for sure. And the reason I say don't start with that as your dream project or don't start with your dream project is just you could get pretty demotivated if you don't see it coming to fruition. Yeah, trying, failing, and come up with a solution. The other thing too is I think like I said, games are motivating. And so you're like, oh, I want to work on this game because it's a game. I'm having fun. I'm making something that's cool. But at some point, you need to mix in other learning. So it can't just be trial and error. Trial and error is one way of learning. But then there's also courses, there are videos, there are people you can talk to, there's documentation you can read, there's code you can look at already on GitHub or something. Like there are so many other ways, and you do need to start mixing these things in if you really want to be like a full-fledged game dev at some point. But your first project should be something you're hyped about. Yeah, and I don't think it takes a lot to form hype for a game. Like, think of, well, if you've played a lot of games, think of how many games you played. Think of how many of those were at least even moderately fun. And so one of the cool things about making any project is you you take a project and make it your own somehow. So if you were to make Tetris, I guess it's pretty easy to directly clone Tetris. But let's say you're making Contra. Something like, let me pull up a visual here. Just want to make sure this isn't going to come up with something wild. Wow, it's really hard to find a picture of what I'm trying to find in Contra. Okay, here we go. Oh, why they're so... No, that's a video. No, no, no. Ah. Okay, well, this is very, very rough. There we go. That's why it was hard to find a picture, because I was on the video staff. User error. Anyway, if you were to make Contra, this would be a lot harder to clone directly. And so at that point, you might think, it would be cool, different guns, different characters you could play as, different levels, completely different, just some reimagining of it. And that tiny little bit might be all you really need to keep yourself motivated so that, Contra may not be your dream game that you want to make, but it's not a gigantic game. And there's so much you can do with this as a template. So I think that motivation can carry you a decent way. And then at some point it is some discipline and just kind of learning things. Not familiar with it. It's confusing at first. Yeah, the other thing I found that helped is learning Godot's philosophy of things before I'd started. They pretty much say that everything you can see in the game should be its own scene. So if you can see a bullet, you should probably have a bullet scene. If you can see a player, you should probably have a player scene. If you can see the UI, you should probably have a UI scene. So I think it's pretty good. A few devs who work on their game without actively learning and improving, and the end product is disappointing. Yeah, I think it's important to separate how you can be successful as a game dev. So success, the way most people kind of think about it, is like money or maybe downloads, something like that, right? But then there's also like how much did you learn? What connections did you form? I know it sounds cheesy to say something like this, like, oh, the real game dev was the friendships we made along the way, but like that is true. You learn a lot, you meet people. And then also, yeah, maybe you made some money or downloads, but this is not the entirety of success. And so if you look at a game as being a failure because like you started something and it didn't turn out exactly how you wanted, it's like, well, I'd say look at all the positives there. Adam coping after Botland. I recognize for sure that Botland was not a commercial success, but it was a massive personal success. I made a game, I released it, I learned a ton. I met some great people. I streamed for like 4 years during it. Yeah, I agree that hype dissipates and that it's not a good persistent motivator, but I think it's a good way of getting you started. If you were to probably just sit down two random people and give them either, hey, you can go make a clone of Twitter, or hey, you can make a clone of Contra, probably more people are going to be like, oh, Contra, I want to make a clone of that. And of course, that is a very subjective, sweeping generalization I'm making, but I think that at least will get people started. Yeah. All right. So the next step that we have to do here would be to commit and push this, which I guess means to clean this up a little bit. I'm going to do a tiny bit of that cleanup now, but not probably a ton of this. And then the next time we approach this code, which might be on Friday, like I said, I'm not going to do a stream tomorrow, but on Friday, what we might do is start adding in the actual game stuff. So like players jumping around, I don't know, some kind of like physics thing, some interpolation of positions. Oh, you just reminded me, Medgard. I want to do an entire video on feedback at some point. Do a video on giving slash receiving feedback and how defensiveness plays in. Yeah. You have to have the discipline to complete something, unless it's just a jam session. Yeah. Yeah. I think there are a lot of people who start projects and then they get out of control at some point and they move to something else. And there's a lot of behavioral psychology behind that. Of like, you will, if you're on any project long enough, hit some frustrations with it. And if you leave every time a project gets frustrating, then you will just keep bouncing between projects because they'll all eventually get frustrating. Fighting with players on Steam forums. Yeah, this is why I said I wanted to do a video on this. I think there's always a nugget of truth in feedback that people give, assuming they're giving it in good faith. Someone could always be giving feedback in bad faith and say something like, this is broken, and actually nothing's broken, right? Okay, so if you're outright lying, it has no merit. But if you're giving feedback in good faith, you could be wrong about something, like objectively wrong. Like you could say something like, Adam, you've been streaming for 6 hours today. That's something you just be wrong about. But if you have that feedback, it means you felt something that makes it feel like the stream was very, very long. And that's the nugget of truth I'm talking about that I want to eventually do a video on. And I find that if you can at least extract what it was that they were trying to communicate, that you can still get some value out of it, even if they're wrong. And a long time ago, I think I was looking at more of like well, here's why you're wrong, or here's what I meant by this. And it's like, that doesn't matter at all. It really doesn't. Okay, so we're storing players here for no reason. Also, I have this thing called test, which I think was just to test typings or something like that. This is probably not very important. We could probably just check for the existence of the game node. No, you know what? I think I'll do a proper cleaning pass on this later. Excuse me. Taking a project and breaking it down into very small tasks is a skill in itself. Yeah, and then prioritizing those tasks, because those are two separate things. It's one thing to break a project down into tasks, but it's another to know which ones are important to do. And especially with games, it's tough to convince yourself not to do just the most fun things at any given point. It's like if you have a multiplayer game, you're going to eventually need some way of having those players connect. That's probably not fun to do. Maybe it's some like name password system. Maybe it's like connecting to Steam's ID. I don't know, whatever. But it's probably not fun to do. It's probably more fun to work on the gameplay or to work on, the next feature you want to add. The nugget of truth holds in everything communicated, not just feedback. Yeah, but I don't think all communication is necessarily personal. Like you might be saying like, what's the weather? And someone else says like, oh, it feels cold outside. You won't have a visceral reaction to that. But if someone's like, hey, how's my game? And they're like, well, it wasn't fun. You might immediately like just kind of get defensive. Start making a game and consider multiplayer toward the end. Yeah, and I always find this pretty cool to see. Like Stardew Valley started as a single player game, but now it is a multiplayer game. And like how did they do that? And I say they because I don't know if it was just Eric Barone who did that. It probably was, but like that couldn't have been easy. And I've seen this happen with a few different games. It's like Risk of Rain. No, wait. Risk of Rain 2 was multiplayer to begin with, but it wasn't more than 4 players. People allowed you to have more than 4, but that's probably a lot easier to do. Isn't Stardew 100% one person? I think it was, except for the mobile versions that were released, until I think the main developer took back control of that. But otherwise, yeah. And that is a monumental success in pretty much every single way you could think about it. I am very impressed and inspired by him, by Toby Fox. And I think those are the main two. Oh, yeah. And what's his name? The guy who did Roller Coaster Tycoon. Roller Coaster Tycoon. I want to say Chris something, but I don't actually remember. Who made this? Why am I not able to find this that fast? It's not even loading Wikipedia. All right, well, I don't know. Oh, man. Yeah. What is going on here? Oh, oh, gonna load? All right, well, whatever. I don't know. I don't know who made it. One month learning to solicit feedback, which is a lot of people struggle with. Then they have to parse that. Yeah, and I think that so much of this plays into how you see yourself. And this is a broader conversation about identity, but we all identify as certain things that you don't even realize you're identifying as. And so, for example, you might be like, I am a good coder. That might be an identity you have. And if other people's feedback touches on that identity, then I think you take it much more personally, much more defensively. And that's part of the feedback process. So it's especially when you take pride in something. So if you do say like, yeah, I'm really good at pixel art, and yeah, maybe I'm not so good at animations. And then someone's like, you know what? I wasn't even a fan of the pixel art. You'll be like, no, but that's the one thing I'm good at. What does that mean? The new game. What is this? Poker-inspired roguelike deck builder, all about creating powerful synergies. I don't think I've heard about this. Yeah. Huh, interesting. Always asks to try out things I built. He's blunt as a hammer and does not mince his words. Yeah. Hey, Private Orange. You never ask for feedback from your manager. Are you really doing the best that you can? I mean, you could be coincidentally, but I see your point, and I agree in general. I think most people should try to seek out feedback, and I think, you know, the ideal situation is that you get feedback that's delivered in a good way that then you can act on. So if someone was like, you know what, your code sucks, your game sucks, I would never play this on my own. It's like, okay, that's feedback. That's potentially valuable, but it's delivered so bluntly that it can be hurtful. But if they were like, look, here's what I didn't find fun about it, or here's what I think could be more fun, I think at least that's more workable. Spent way too much time making overpowered weapons to fight each other with instead of advancing the game further. I like what Blizzard does for a lot of this. Blizzard, at least with a few of the games I've seen, like StarCraft 2, they have the main mode, which is supposed to be very balanced. And actually, StarCraft 2 is supposed to be like, you know, one of the most balanced games, quote unquote. And then they have like fun modes, which are just crazy. And so it was the same thing with Hearthstone. You have the main mode, which is pretty balanced, then you have these fun modes, which just go nuts. I think if you just had the sort of fun modes where there's all this crazy stuff, that people will try to turn it into a competitive realm, and then they'll get upset with the balance. So I think having that separation is pretty good. So all the stuff you said about overpowered weapons, it's like if you had that as a separate mode, I think it'd be really cool. I think if you put it in your main mode of your game, then it becomes like, oh man, now people are going to expect that this is just what they thought balance was. So yeah, after today's stream, here's where we ended up. We have a server, and every time you launch the game, it spawns another 3 images. So if I launch this again, you'll see the same general pictures. There are none really toward the bottom. They're still not really forming toward the bottom. Oh, and there we got another couple there toward the bottom, I think. Yeah. And that's it. That's what we did. And so the server is keeping track of all this and then it's replicating it to clients. And one of my things that I want to do with this, and I actually just thought of an idea yesterday. I wonder what people think about this. But what if we made a game jam? The theme is shared worlds, and I sort of like force you, or I require you to use this sort of template where it has to be multiplayer, and I give you something to start with if you don't know how to do it. So you'd have code like this, and maybe it would show you how to do more things in the game. And then other than that, it's like, oh, well, look, you could make something that's multiplayer too, and it wouldn't be that hard. And here are some of the concepts, and I make a video about it or something. Can it be not Godot? I think I wouldn't. The thing about providing a template is you could either require that everybody uses it, and then it would have to be Godot, or you do it in your own thing, and then you have to figure out all the multiplayer stuff. So yeah, I don't think it's important to have the template be used. But I think it would be important that the shared worlds thing implies like it is multiplayer. Because you could come up with a game where it's like, oh, shared worlds, you're in the forest and you're, befriending raccoons or something. And so you're sharing the world with the raccoons. It's like, okay, I guess you can interpret the theme that way, but if it's not multiplayer, it's not exactly what I would want out of the gem. You ever hear about Dota 2's arcade being restricted with creators being disallowed from asking for money at all? I did not hear about that, no. I never got into any MOBAs though, so I never really followed any of the news of them. Yeah. Anyway, I think it'd be cool to do that. I got a couple of jam ideas. We're probably gonna do them in like calendar Q2 of this year. So I guess now we're in like stream Q2. Simple tank game to super unrealistic cast magic spells at the end of the barrel. And yeah, that learning will probably come in handy in the future. Well, okay, so I should probably get going to lunch. So we're done with the morning part of the stream. And let me write in the journal really fast. Whoops. So Godot prototype. Started prototyping a multiplayer game in the morning. Got to the point where nodes spawned and synchronized correctly, but there's no player input yet. Okay, so the rest of the day, I'm going to take a break for about an hour. Then we're going to cover as much as I can of these 2 PRs that I think exist. Now there are 3. Aha, okay, we're going to try to incorporate all 3 of these PRs if we can. But then, and this is definitely happening at this time, so currently for me, it is almost noon. So in 2 hours and I guess 11 minutes, we're going to be doing a one-on-one session with Casey from chat. And this is like the mentoring sessions, but just a one-off. So this will not be a series. So if you look at the other mentoring series that I've done, we've, covered 2 sessions for everybody, 2 more sessions for 2 of the people. For Casey, it's just going to be just the one. That's it. That's all we ever planned. And yeah. And then any extra time, we'll probably just keep chatting about stuff. Yeah, one-shot mentoring. Quick question before we go. Do you enjoy Colmac now after using it for a good amount? Wanting to switch for Ergo and less typing mistakes? Oh, man. There's a greater question of if you're really, really good at A and you switch to B and you're less good, will you enjoy it less just because you're less good at it? And so I feel like I was better at QWERTY. I like the concepts of Colmac, but until I'm as good as I was with QWERTY, I feel like I like it slightly less. And I'm going to give it a shot for maybe like the rest of this year. And at the end of the year, I feel like I'm good, then okay, fine. The way I kind of theorize that typing works is you get good by making a mistake on every single word you've ever typed. And you make enough mistakes where you learn how to correct them. So like the word mentoring, if you type it out enough, you will eventually, I don't know, make a couple of mistakes, right? Maybe you swap these 2 letters or something like that. And then you learn like, oh yeah, I got to slow down. I got to think differently. And you're not consciously aware of all that stuff. You just end up making those changes. So then you start typing a weird thing like, funky monkey, which for me always trips me up and I need to like slow down and think about it. If I type this out 40 times per day, I would have this baked into my muscle memory probably. All right, I'm gonna get going. I don't usually raid in the morning streams because I'm gonna come back in like an hour. I don't have a key for swapping 2 letters actually. That's my new tab key, and Command T happens to be transpose in VS Code. So you can transpose characters that way. Anyway, oh, yep, showed up too late. Well, I'll be back in about an hour. I'm just gonna get lunch, and then we'll come back and we'll do some other things. So thank you all for watching. There were a lot of subs today. I really appreciate it. I hope you've liked watching the stream so far. This afternoon's gonna be pretty different. And that's it. I'm gonna get going. Bye, everybody.